Check it out. All right, I think we are officially live. What's up, buddies? We are here back in the building. Hero Watchers, so hopefully that improves shortly. But we're back with another episode of Surface Noise, our bi-weekly podcast here on Vinyl Community Podcasts, talking about record collecting with record collectors and trying not to mess things up. So I'm Concert Buddy. You've seen my ugly face plenty of times on this presentation. If you're watching, if you're listening, you've heard me many a times, hopefully on the Vinyl Community Podcasts feed. But I'm joined this evening by usual cast of characters. Jason Rojas, how you doing, sir?
I'm all right. I got it. We'll talk about that later. I got it.
Those Rhino reissues, we'll get into that. Yeah, we got Arnaldo, hopefully feeling better.
Yep, feeling much better, thanks.
Wonderful.
Hi, guys.
We got Jose Moreno. Now, Jose, is it Jose Moreno Ron or just Jose Moreno? I got because you've tried both of them on me.
Well, no, because in Latin America you have two first, middle, and two last names.
Oh, okay.
So that's when you present yourself over here, you say all your name. I always find it weird when people in the U.S. only have one name and one last name, but you can call me Jose. That's fine. Just whichever one you remember.
Oh, I remember them all, Jose. And then rounding out our dais is David over at Safe and Sound Texas Audio Excursion. How you feeling, David?
Hey, I'm getting better. Thanks.
Perfect. So let's kind of kick it off. We have a wide array of questions that we've been cooking up in the Vinyl Community Podcast studios. And the first one we're going to kick it off with, guys, is as record collectors, what's the best piece of advice that you can sink your teeth into that you've gotten from somebody else and you've applied to your own collecting prowess? So Arnaldo, let's go with you.
So we're starting with me. Okay.
So, or the policeman in the background, one of the two.
That's not me. That's not. Yeah, well, I'm in New York and there's always sirens going on. That is not New York.
That's me.
Okay.
Wow.
Minneapolis. Ooh.
I know.
It's gonna be the one would think it's gonna be either in Mexico or in New York, but it's not apparently.
So I want to say that the best piece of advice, that's not me clicking, right?
I'm trying to figure that out. Is Jose, are you typing? I think Jose is typing. Is that what I'm hearing?
No, I think it's.
I'm muting.
Okay, maybe it was David.
No,
okay,
it's not me.
No, I don't know. Anyway.
Well, hang on. Let's figure this piece out because this is. Are we getting gremlins? What's going on here?
It's probably gonna be me. I'm gonna go get my laptop. All right.
Okay, you're fine. You're fine.
All right.
Jose will be back. We'll work back to him. And yes, I think
Yes,
that's
it was right.
So bad internet from Mexico. Okay, we know what it is.
All right, so Arnaldo, let's tee that one back up. So, best piece of advice, collecting advice you've heard.
I would have to say, do your research. Whether it be Discogs, which kind of seems like the Bible nowadays, or eBay, or even Vinyl Community. Jason knows very well that whenever I'm at a record fair, he's my go-to.
Wake up early because Arnaldo will have you on speed dial. Okay.
I'm like, okay, texting him, asking his advice on, just bouncing off prices and, versions that I find in the wild, sometimes when, when I'm stumped and I'm a little overwhelmed by what's around me, I kind of like panic and like, do I leave it behind? Do I just like wait for the next one? So there's times that, a lifeline is required. So either do your research, I would say Discogs, eBay, or a buddy that that you trust.
And how long would you say it took you to really take that to heart? Because 10 years ago, a lot of these resources eBay was probably around. Discogs was around, but it wasn't as, I guess, applicable. I'm holding a phone, right? It wasn't at your fingertips. Is this something that's probably in the last 10 years? It's something that's really proved of value for you?
I would say probably in the last 3 or 4, maybe 5 years. Yeah.
Okay.
Otherwise, I would just use my best judgment, and I had budgets and standards that I would not go above.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I would just use my best judgment and try not to overspend for something that I've seen very often. And right now, I think the prices of some used vinyl is getting ridiculous. So I
Oh
think
my.
even more than ever, people have to find a resource that they trust, whether it be a senior record collecting buddy, the internet, Discogs, forums. So
Jason, we'll kick it to you because I have a feeling. Well, I don't want to be presumptuous, but you've often espoused the virtues of not jumping and not falling for those crazy prices. Is that kind of along the lines of the best advice somebody gave you, or are you going a different direction there?
you're
You're
muted.
mute. Hello.
How about now?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Better
sir.
now?
Yes,
So
sir.
which one are you saying, gotten or given?
Let's start with someone gave to you that really was a difference maker.
Oh, gave to me. More like just be open to listen to music. Don't pigeonhole yourself. So I'm not really into, I wasn't into jazz when I collected, and then basically had some, wasn't being a dork. I talked to the record owners, like I introduced myself and, and I was like, hey, do you know about this? And just be friendly. Don't be pigheaded, got to be open, and so they helped me get into a lot of jazz and stuff like that, and that's how I was able to get into worthless things like this, reissues.
We'll touch on that.
So you didn't take the advice, in other words. Okay.
Right. I took the advice a little
Too open. Yes.
too open, right?
So, David, same question. Was there somebody in your or was it just something that you just kind of picked up through osmosis? Like, what was the best piece of tangible advice that someone, however, imparted on you? Would you say?
It's funny because I go back to buying records from 1963. So, ironically, one of the best pieces of advice I ever got early on was someone who knew records well, and the hi-fis at the time were not really kind to records. They were heavy and
Sure.
heavy tone arms and someone told me, and this has started when the Beatles came out, buy more than one. And I did. And I had a bunch of sealed first releases of US pressing still from the Beatles. So ironically, that morphed into a bird in the hand. In other words, a lot of times you'll leave something thinking you can find it somewhere else.
Yeah.
Or you can get it on Discogs. The problem with Discogs or any place is you don't have it in your hand at the time to see it. When you see it in a store, it's there.
Right.
So the question becomes, would you pay a couple extra bucks? You've already driven there. You've already paid for the gas. So would you not take a bird in the hand? So it's kind of not totally contrary to what you guys are saying, but at the same time, think about it. Are you going to find it? As I get older, I'm going, will I be alive? It's like, so you younger guys, you don't have that same pressure on you like I do.
Sure.
But there is that bird in the hand. If you see something that's really good, and look for listening stations, record stores that have listening stations, because you can have a record that looks pristine and sounds noisy, and you can have a record that has scuffs and looks bad and sounds perfect. So you got to be judicious about that. So I would lean toward, if you can, and you have a store that has a listening station, to buy there because you have that opportunity. If they don't have it, check their return policy, of course.
No, that's fair. No, I'm going to put a pin in that, David, because I'm actually going to, when I come to my answer, we're going to get to Jose next, but my answer is very similar to that. So, Jose, what's the best piece of advice someone has given you from a record collecting perspective that you've adopted and put into practice yourself?
I think that not letting go thing, it's really good.
In what way? In what way?
Because I think that more often than not, when I was younger and I bought records, there's a lot of records that I didn't get because I thought, no, maybe later I'll get it or whatever. I do think there's a lot of truth in that. But the biggest advice that someone's ever told me, which is something that I always tell people, is never buy a record because someone else told you to. And the reason I say that is because this thing that you collect must be something that you will enjoy.
So on rare occasions that you can stream it and you like it, buy it. But like blindly things are great, but if you do them, but at the end of the day, like don't clock yourself thinking, oh, I must buy all the classic rock records that I like, and you have to have Dark Side of the Moon and Fleetwood Macs or whatever. It's like buy whatever you like first, and then everything else it's gonna be way more easier to get. If so, perhaps just take a little moment to, think about what you like and what you want at that time, and don't buy just because somebody told you that you should buy this first and then that first.
Well, you raise an interesting point, Jose, because I think, and hopefully I'm not speaking alone here, but I think the vinyl community on YouTube has cost me some money in the sense of I'll watch videos, things I don't know about or things I'm even on the fence about. And if it's somebody who I trust their opinion or, somebody's demonstrated some degrees of subject matter expertise a year, 3 years, 5 years ago, I'd be more prone to take a flyer on things in the exploration of learning new music, finding new things, right?
I mean, but there's certain things like if, for example, I like the Grateful Dead. So if somebody recommends me a Grateful Dead pressing, that's a little different. But just for saying like, I don't know, whatever. Oh, this band I think you might like. All right, listen to it first, but don't like go ahead and just buy it if you don't feel securely about it.
Well, especially with the cost, like we're talking about the cost in the open there. I mean, the rise in price point, I think the exploration for $20, and even that's probably a little too jurisdictional.
Yeah,
that's where streaming comes in to help you be able to listen to it ahead of time.
For sure.
Yeah, for example, we were talking backstage about Alice Cooper for a little while, and I'll say like I've never really like got involved on his catalog. Like I don't know it as much as other people might. I know that his first 2 records, this is Zappa related, but the other records that they're reissuing right now, it's like they're like $95 right now for those reissues. So maybe I would have to listen to them first and see if I like them instead of just blindly going and buying a $95 record that they probably pressed too much, and like in 2 months it's probably going to be like a $70 record. So wait a little, and
but that's hard to do now in our especially in the COVID time. Remember, like the pressing plants were so backed up, supply was so limited that patience, and I know Jason espouses patience a lot with a lot of the conversations we've had, right?
Yeah.
But I think it's been hard to do that because, for example, I'm not trying to bring up a sore subject, but Mobile Fidelity releases would come in and out of pre-MoFi Gate like nobody's business, right? So I think that I would love to be patient. And I think hopefully this is kind of my opinion. The rising price points might actually help
slow it down,
calm those waters, right?
Yes.
Because as you can see, again, using the MoFi example, MoFi is holding inventory that doesn't sell out right away, right? Like right now, this is a bad example, but
they sell that anymore.
So David, I'm gonna circle back to what you brought up because that was kind of my best advice I picked up, and it actually didn't come from a record collector per se. And I think I've said this many times, so I apologize for being redundant, but I'm a fan or was a fan or have been a fan of that TV show American Pickers, right? And one of the things that I identified with from a record collecting perspective was I always liked used records that in my mind somebody just moved off of, that I was giving a second life, right? And he has a really great piece of advice that I've really put into practice. And it's been expensive at times, but it's been helpful more than that. And that is, if you've never seen it before, that's probably the time to get it. Now, within that, kind of what Arnaldo was talking about, like I do lean into doing some research, right? It's not just I'm like, oh, I've never seen Megadeth Countdown Extinction MoFi. I've got to buy it. $800, it's mine. It's nothing like that.
Yeah.
But it is something along the lines of if I've never seen it, it piques my curiosity to then start using the toolkit of what does this really go for? Is this a good price? Is this readily available? All those sorts of things. What do you guys think about that? Like, do you guys apply that into if you're out at a record fair, if you're at a store and you've never seen it, does that open that gate to better get it or else I'll never see it again?
I also buy when not even if I like the band, I sometimes buy, and I have friends that I know that like it, and if I live outside the U.S., so sometimes when for example, I don't know, like I'm not a Van Halen fan, but if I see a Van Halen record that I know it's not gonna be a normal one to find, I buy it and still like I listen to it, and if I enjoy it or whatever, I keep it. If not, I'll ask friends if they want it or whatever. But I try to do that as much as possible.
So John Bandy's got a good one here. He says, best piece of advice as far as Discogs: ask lots of questions and the right questions.
Photos.
Details. It's very topical. And the reason I bring it up is I think I have it here. I do. Oh, I'm so ill prepared, boys.
Well, you don't have all the records, like.
All right, so I'm just gonna do a little show and tell real quick on John's question here. So, Ryan Adams Gold, not a very hard record to find, but an original first pressing, not easy to find, at least for me, right? So I literally just bought this on Discogs last week. Trusted the seller. He had I think he had hundreds of transactions. Got it here. What do you know? Not a first pressing. How did I know? Because I did my research and I knew that on the first pressing, the barcode is vertical, not horizontal. And then I knew it came out in 2002. And then if you look at the labels on the record, it said 2003, right? So to John's point, you have to ask a lot of questions. And that wasn't an expensive record. It was like a $30 record. But it's something that I've been looking for a while. And I've seen that reissue in my local store, share, all over. Really frustrating. So John, that's a great observation for sure.
As if it's more than $50 in Discogs, I would suggest asking for photos. I mean, less than $50, I don't think it's worth it. But anything above $50, I would say like ask for a photo. If they don't reply, well, but ask for them. But be serious about it. Don't be like, I want to see photos of everything. I think
Jose, I was going to say, so to kind of what you were talking about earlier, Louis got this one. How often do you blind buy in contrast to your own advice?
A lot. I do a lot. But I do it in a weird way. Like, for example, not to keep showing records, but for example, I was telling you backstage again about these Dweezil Zappa record.
Okay.
Because I've never listened to a Dweezil Zappa record, and I know Frank Zappa's son, so I blind bought it because I was like, worst case scenario, how bad could it be? And it's pretty bad. It's pretty average. I wouldn't say that he's playing is bad or anything. It's just nothing memorable. It sounds like a band from like Oklahoma doing like covers of metal songs, but it's and the photos are horrible. It looks like
so cute. Look at
that again. I mean, that is that a anti-drug PSA from the 80s?
Yeah,
look at that. It's terrible.
It looks horrible. But so I do blind buy it, but
have you ever bought a record just because of the cover? I know I have.
Oh,
of course I have.
damn it.
Of course I have.
Really? Can you show that again?
It's an OG too. Back when I was in high school. So.
And sometimes it's good, right? I remember seeing this with all the.
So is that Sleep? Is that what that is, Jose?
Yeah. I just saw it like this, and I was like, "Oh, I want it. What is that?"
I bought based on covers before.
Oh, sure.
Not just that one.
So conversely, that's the best piece of advice you feel you've taken in. You got to pay it forward, right, fellas? What's the best piece of advice? It could be exactly that, the same one that somebody gave you. What's the best piece of advice you feel you've shared with someone else to help them along their journey? We'll go, Jason. We'll go in order this time. Jason, what would you say?
Here's my advice: make friends, so you don't have to buy all these silly, expensive records. Let somebody else do that for you. We'll do that for you. So to raise up the game on David here, blind buy on this purchase here,
So what do you have there? Tell us about it.
So this is Curtis Counts. Maybe John Bandy knows about this jazz record. This is the OG contemporary.
Is that from the horny 50s? What is that?
Yes, from the horny 50s. Jose. Thank you.
Horny 50s.
This is why I have it marked explicit on the podcast. I'm just saying. So just go ahead.
Well, I was referring to the instrument, but all right.
I mean, this is better than the Dweezil Zappa. I give you that.
Oh, of course it must
Whoa. What isn't?
Yeah, what is it? Yeah, that's a good question.
So that's my advice. To me, if you're ever in Minnesota or whatever, and I guess moving back to North Austin, Texas. Just let's hook up. Let's listen to these records. There's no need for you to buy it. This fool probably already bought it. You know.
Yes, he has.
But that's real. Like I have friends that like Jimi Hendrix UHQRs. I don't own them, but friends of mine own them, and go to this house and listen to them, and then $120 more in my wallet. You know what I mean?
So, Arnaldo, what's the best piece of advice you've intentionally shared with someone else relating to record collecting?
I think I actually shared it on this stream. I'll repeat it again. Just be patient. Don't give in unless it's something extremely rare that you have never seen before.
Thank you.
And that the chances of ever seeing it again, like a turquoise Led Zeppelin, in that case,
don't feed him. Don't feed him.
He has them like right here.
Unless it's something like that, just be patient, because if you go to record stores regularly. Hey, Melinda.
Hey, Melinda.
Melinda's birthday, by the way, fella. So wish
Oh,
her a
happy
happy
birthday,
birthday.
Melinda.
Hey.
Mi cumpleaños.
So so it depends. I mean, if you're on a trip in a country where typically that artist was very popular and you see great deals on certain records, obviously, and things that you don't come across in your own country, then I would say yes, buy it. But if you go regularly to shows, if you go regularly to record stores, I'm sure you will come across the same. And it's happened to me where I've come across records sometimes cheaper, sometimes more expensive than when I had purchased them originally. So,
So David, same question. Because again, I would like to think, and I know you're well enough to think, that you're very free with your advice, and especially as the elder statesman of the dais by your own admission.
Yeah.
You probably espouse more advice and you take it in this journey. What's something that comes to mind in terms of sharing with collectors? Could be a new collector, any collector, really.
Yeah. Protect thy records. I have records that where the spine is worn because I've played them enough and pulled them out of shelves, and I didn't have protector sleeves. So the album's, VG plus and the cover's like a VG minus, So protect your records, rice paper on your sleeves for the actual vinyl. Just, if you want to, you can decide on your own whether you want to put the record on the outside of the outer sleeve, or in where it's supposed to be. I know on some of the gatefolds, if you put the record between the gatefold, it'll cause it then to not get smashed in the corner in the upper spine, because sometimes it does that in the shelf. But if that record's there, it keeps those gatefolds spread apart a little bit. So just, I look at some of these records and I go, the record's fabulous, but if you looked at the cover, you'd go, some ring wear or whatever. Don't stuff your shelves too tight is the other thing. Which
Patrick's not a good one.
You should see mine. You should see mine.
Clean your record, sure, yeah.
Yeah, Patrick, this is a PSA for probably all collectors. Clean your records.
Even
Jose.
new ones, even brand new
Even
ones.
new ones, yes.
Especially brand new.
Especially lately. So, Jose, what would you share with any collector that runs into your orbit in terms of a best practice or a best piece of advice?
I think the same thing that I said before. It's just like collecting records to make it fun for you. You should always open up your scope of what you're listening to. Like try it. There are certain ways. I was very young when I discovered Discogs, and I used to love like pinpointing maps of like how an artist went from here to here and listening to all of this.
Sure.
I guess exploring would be my advice. It's like keep exploring, because if not, this hobby can go boring extremely fast if you don't do that. I think that this hobby lets itself to make discoveries, and I think that it's something that everybody should try to do. Basically, it's just like, I don't know, if you
let your curiosity take over, go down the deep dives, the rabbit holes,
like
sources of information to better understand your foundation of an artist, genre, etc. Yep.
Because even if it's just looking at who produced it, right? You can find a lot of artists and a little bit common things. For example, everybody knows here that I'm not a big fan of somebody that produced this band that I'm wearing my shirt of, but Rick Rubin,
Rick Rubin.
yeah, but it's a great example.
Oh yeah.
For example, if you listen to the Cash America's sessions, and then you're like, oh, what else has he done? And you're like, oh, the Tom Petty record, which is probably his best in my opinion. It's there's a lot of different genres that you can try out, even metal, right, or hip hop. So I would guess that my advice would be just explore more, so it doesn't get boring.
I'm with you. So Brandon, my good buddy, Mr. Hall of Fame, one of the OGs of the vinyl community, is here. And his actually, the thing I was going to share is actually a piece he gave me, but let's go ahead and read his comment here. He says, make it your collection. All caps, your collection. It's easy to get locked into trying to recreate someone else's collection without realizing you are doing it. Very true. But Brandon gave me an even better piece of advice in terms of, and Jose, I'm kind of piggybacking off what you said, in terms of exploration, right? If you get something that you like it, even if you're lukewarm and it's on a recommendation, Brandon has a sage advice. It's money on the shelf. And what he means by that is a couple things. One, if you don't like it, you can probably get off of it. Doesn't mean it's going to be profit on the shelf. Very clear, right? Like, doesn't mean if you buy a record, you're instantly going to get a great return. But if it's something that doesn't fit you for whatever reason, either you didn't really connect with it, you want to go in a different direction with your collection, you're thinning it down, etc., you can always get off of it. And I always remember that in terms of exploration, right? Because there are sometimes I've done the blind buys. There's sometimes I've watched vinyl community videos and said, oh, such and such said I should get that. I'm getting it. And I got it. And it was a big stinker. I'm just going to be honest, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if I was really motivated, I can get off of it. So that is kind of the burden and the curse of the hobby, I'll say, is that
but again,
if I don't like it, somebody else probably will.
That could be corrected by streaming it. Because
For sure.
But it's something that we normally don't do. Like I personally, for example, like if a band that I like is going to release a record, I try not to listen to a lot of singles. There are bands that I buy the records even if the singles are horrible. Like King Gizzard, they don't have bad singles, but it's something that I'm going to buy anyways. But like I never recommend King Gizzard to people, even if I am a huge King Gizzard fan.
Sure.
Because they have so much stuff that unless somebody is already have an idea of what they play, but keeping, an open mind to what you can like, it's probably, and if you don't like it again, you could sell it, trade it. Trading, it's pretty fun. People don't tell you that, but the trading, it's pretty fun.
Well, Patrick's got another good tip, and Patrick knows his stuff, so I really lean in on what he's saying here. He said, another tip, check for spindle wear. A record can have storage marks, but no spindle wear. And that's true. I mean, that's something I got to be honest, I'm not very keen on. I'm usually I'll look a record quickly. Okay, does it look pretty clean on the wax? Perfect. Sometimes I'll look and see if there's any kind of visible warping. But mainly I'm looking at, does anybody write on the labels? Because that's just me. I hate the writing on the labels, writing on anything. Why did people, David, you lived during this time. Why did people write their name on jackets?
Because people would take them to parties and they would share them. And then, this isn't my record. Well, it is now, but back then it made perfectly good sense.
I thought it was a swinging 60s that they were sharing partners, they were sharing records, they were sharing everything and anything.
I'm guilty. When I was 10, I was writing on the label.
Arnaldo.
I was afraid that someone was going to take my records.
But unlike partners, they wanted it back.
Yeah.
I don't mind it. I mean, I've bought records from VC people that write their names on stuff. If it's something like that, I don't mind it. But when it's like a psych record that I really didn't want Stacy to write her name on or whatever, that's pretty fun.
Yeah.
So the next one, guys, I thought.
Can I just chime in on what Patrick said?
Please go ahead.
So the spindle wear, it all depends on who is the owner of the record. You look at all of my records from like 30 years ago, you will not see any spindle wear because I know how to get the, bullseye You know,
Hit
it's
the
not.
hole.
I'm not searching for the spindle. So you know,
I could really go in some really inappropriate places
know,
with
it's
this,
not,
but
yes.
Well, yeah, that's one thing about radio station copies. When we were in radio, we'd grab the record, throw it, and try to find it to hit the spindle while we were doing something else. So a lot of times those have pretty excessive spindle wear because you're literally trying to find the hole in the turntable while you're doing something else.
For sure,
Yeah.
that makes sense. So Melinda's got a good little point before we move to the next one. She said, "I know someone that racked up so much credit card debt from buying that they couldn't enjoy the records. Don't overspend." Very true. I think that's not just in record collecting. I think it's a byproduct.
That's what her
of our-
family is telling her about the birthday gifts right now. So just understand.
You know, a good suggestion with all the audiophile world that we live in right now.
Mhm.
I would say that there are certain bands that if you're not that much into, I would not suggest getting audiophile versions of records you don't particularly know about. That's just my suggestion.
Yeah.
But like, for example, I'm a huge Bob Dylan fan, and I do think the MoFi versions sound better than any other, because I own like 4 copies of CD, 8 tracks, reel to reel, you name it. I own a lot of Bob Dylan stuff, so I know what I'm getting into when I bought MoFi. But for a lot of records, if it's not really your cup of tea, or you just think that you need that one step of Hotel California that's coming up, if you really don't like it, like, don't bother. Yeah, don't bother. You can get a copy for $30 or less, I'm assuming, and spend it on something else. Go and get a beer or something. I don't know.
So relative to our advice party, because this is an advice party, let's just be honest. Next question I was thinking is, giving advice to another collector, but like a new collector. Let's go one layer deeper. Not even brand new, just somebody who's new to the hobby. Like, what's something that you would offer as sage advice of, like, you either learn the hard way, or maybe it's something new that's really an adaptive practice, or something you've put into your tool belt that you think that they should jump on right away. Jason, what do you got?
I think you've said this about me. Patience is the key. Don't go rush. I never rush to judgment. As Arnaldo, he'll text me, should I get this? And I'm always like, if it's 1 digit, okay. 2 digits, two digit price, like, oh, all right.
99 cents.
3-digit price. You better think about, that's a steak dinner, maybe, a couple tacos, maybe
nice pair of shoes. Yeah.
Yeah, like, again, like, you're going to spend this 3 digits on this record. It better be a record that you're gonna love, and enjoy.
Arnaldo, what do you think? If a new collector came in your orbit, however, is there something that you'd just be very passionate to say, like, hey, this X helped me, or like, you should really think about why?
Like several other people have already mentioned it, listen to it. Whether you can stream it beforehand or a listening station at the store, listen to it.
No, that was good advice for sure. Yeah.
And then if you're buying from Discogs, pictures, description, and more pictures.
Well, to me, like, if you're exchanging with a seller on Discogs and they don't send you the pictures, do not buy. Like, despite the temptation, because if they can't even meet you, like, if they can't even close a deal and say, hey, I have like some pictures of the spine of the, the dead wax, whatever, and they can't even send you the pictures, I think that's bad business. And I don't, I stop.
Oh, and one more thing, since we're on the Discogs topic,
sure.
Look at the feedback of who you're buying from.
Took mine.
Look how long they've been a member,
and how many
Discogs,
and how many they've sold. Yeah.
I almost fell into a trap of someone that was selling, forgot what it was, at a price that was way too good to be true. I looked at their history. They had just joined maybe a week ago, had no prior sales, and I looked at their entire inventory. They were all very sought after records, which were at a very, very inexpensive price. So that was a red flag immediately. I was like, okay, this is a fake.
I want to circle back to that once on the freestyle portion, because Discogs this week, I don't know if you guys saw it. You know, they're really doubling down on how they're trying to really eliminate scammers and spammers and all that stuff. I still think they're not doing enough, but let's put that in our pocket because I really would like to talk about that. David, hopefully Arnaldo didn't take the wind out of your sails.
No, he definitely took. Yeah, I was thinking about that whole rating and how many you've sold. But you know, the other thing I would tell a new seller is that network with other people.
Yes.
Get to know other people in the vinyl community and watch reviews. It's like, you know, consistency. Generally, you know, you see shootouts and things. There's generally, you know, it falls into one category, and usually most people have an opinion about something. But get to know people that are in the vinyl community. If you're in a record store, there's other people there with similar interests. So, you know, you never know. You're standing next to somebody, hey, what do you like to listen to? And, oh, I see you're doing a Bob Dylan there. You know, it's amazing how you can network. And I think it's important to do that now, especially because the prices are such that you gotta protect your wallet.
Jose, that's a very expensive fan you have there. I'll make you big here. What do you fall off with there?
Just bring it all back home.
Oh, a Mobile Fidelity record is how does that cool you? Does it cool you well?
Yes.
Does that have the DSD step?
Yes, of course it has.
Is it mono or is it the stereo version?
Look, it's a photo of Allen Ginsberg wearing a top hat.
He's wearing the DSD step.
Dr. Seuss has arrived.
Oh, that's funny.
I'll tell you my my advice for people that are beginning. Beware, and I mean it, beware of buying cheap copies, cheap records.
Well, you probably, not to jump to conclusions here, but I see a lot of counterfeiting in your areas, Jose, right? Like Latin American countries and so forth.
No, not really. What I'm trying to say is like I see when I go to like record fairs or whatever, I always see like a beat up copy of Fleetwood Mac, Rumors, or Dark Side of the Moon, and people think that just by the fact of owning it, it's like it's $10, all right. But it's like, why would you want to have a VG or G plus record of a very common record? Like, don't buy trash records, even if they're cheap. Like, it's always better to have spent $5 more on a record that's on better condition than to buying a crappy one just to save a little money. If it really means a lot to you, don't give in into thinking, I'm gonna get this. It's just the record has a little surface noise. I'll get it anyways. Because later on, with the patience and everything that people said here, you will find a better copy, and you will regret thinking, I already bought that piece of shit Rumors record because I found it for $5 in a thrift store or whatever. I don't know. So it's my advice would be that it's G plus records upwards. Don't buy VG or G plus unless you're into psych music and you don't want to be poor like me. So get that would be my advice. Just
no, it's really good.
To temptation.
And that's hard to do, especially at least the last couple of years. The FOMO, the supply chain. There's so many variables that have really changed the hobby, at least in the last 10 years.
If you don't want FOMO, don't be friends with Jason Rojas. That's the.
So my piece of advice, and then we got one more, and we'll close out the podcast here. But one thing that I will give a lot of credit to the vinyl community on YouTube is watching a lot of videos and just watching, learning, be a sponge. And what I mean by that is I'd watch people's videos and I would see certain records so often that then I had like a visual recall. So when I was out in the wild, then I could start connecting the pieces of, I know what this is. And so you start developing that kind of acumen of knowing, like you're talking about, Jose, that Rumors, there's millions of copies out there, and you probably want the textured Burbank label, like first pressing, etc. Right? Like, I've only learned that through watching videos and then inspiring me to want to continue to take that deep dive, like you said earlier. But amassing the information, I think that's what we're all saying in kind of different ways, is amass as much information to then better inform your spending decisions, your listening. Because I say it in my videos all the time, your time is your most valuable commodity. And if you're listening to records, which you should be doing. PSA, you should be listening to your records. You want to make sure that it's not only a good use of your money, but it's a good use of your time. So last one for the podcast, fellas, is kind of very similar to that last question. And I'm going to credit Jason because I thought this is a very clever question. If you had a time machine, which I'm working on in my basement, if you had a time machine, it can go back to a certain point to your own self to espouse advice, knowing the trials and tribulations and the duplicate copies and the bootlegs and all the pitfalls that you've experienced in your collecting journey. What would you say to young Jason, young Arnaldo, whoever, to really set them on the right path and avoid wasting money, wasting time, etc.? Jason, your question. So you've got to have a great answer on this one. No pressure.
No, I don't. I have like the worst. Like to me, I'd go back and say, hey, go back to that dollar section and buy that Rodriguez Cold Fact. Just buy it. Just buy it. Don't turn it down. Just buy it. You know, man, what a mistake.
So you did see one for $1? Wow.
$1. And then one of the clerks was like, hey, listen to this. And he picked it out of the dollar section, gave it to me. There's a listening station. I listened to it. At that time, I was more into like, very like psychedelic, deep, druggy psychedelic. That's not really per se. It's very poppy. So I was like, nah. And then the clerk said, are you sure about that? I go, yeah, put it back. And then Doris Slater.
I'm sorry,
What record was it?
Rodriguez Cold Fact.
Cold Fact, 1970 or 71 on Sussex. It's the documentary Searching for Sugarman. That was that artist. But yeah, that's it.
I would have bought more from the dollar bin.
That's the Bill Withers label.
Yes, Sussex. That's right. Dennis Coffey. If you're
Dennis Coffey, Scorpio.
Well, Dennis Coffey was actually a guitar player on Cold Fact. See what I did there? I put it all together. And you know how I learned this? Watching videos. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Well, Arnaldo, what would you say if you could go back and talk to younger Arnaldo? What would you tell him?
Well, how young? I was born in 68, so I wasn't yet buying records. Otherwise, I would have bought every Beatles record that was around in the 60s.
Sure. Maybe to the point where you were getting a little bit more serious about music collecting.
Probably not. I mean, everyone in the early 90s started jumping on the CD bandwagon, right? Late 80s, 90s. And maybe I should have not stopped buying records because I think it was 91 is when I said to myself, like, I'm only buying CDs from now on, but just continue to buy throughout the 90s, at least the records that I cared about, the bands that I really cared about.
I think there's a lot of people,
or at least go through all the used stores where people were just dumping all of their old records because they were switching over to CD, and just buy up everything else that people were just not like selling off, and you'd find tons of records, like Jason said, for $1, $2.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people out there, and I was guilty of this too. Well, I didn't have a lot.
I never sold my records.
Oh, okay.
When I switched over, I kept everything.
Good.
I never sold anything, and I only started selling records maybe 5 years ago on Discogs, only because I had doubles or things that I bought and didn't like. So,
all right, David, time travel. I mean, if you want to go back to Baby Bianco,
oh boy,
and put that first pressing of whatever album is your favorite under his little crib, would you do it now?
No, I'd probably expose a diaper on it or something. I don't know. Anyway, so really what when I was young, I did by happenstance all the things that now are of value. I think I told the story. I grew up in Gary, Indiana, and that was the people who started VJ Records were out of Gary, Indiana, and VJ was in Chicago for manufacturing and that. And so there were Beatle albums all over Gary in '63 in July. And I got all of those early ones. I got the Four Seasons and and it was just like, it was like the cover art really got me. It was like cartoonish and,
Sure.
And so early on I was doing things I had I didn't realize it. But later on, what I realized is I sometimes would not buy a used record because of the cover, but yet the record that was in it was pristine.
Mm.
And a buddy of mine not too long ago said, hey, I saw a Led Zeppelin 2, but the cover was really bad. And I said, well, did you look at it to see if it was an RL? He said, what's an RL? You know, the whole thing. And
Right.
well, it turned out it was an RL, and the record was like $8.99. $8.99.
Mm.
You know, and the record was probably VG, I would say. And so my point is, don't judge a book by its cover.
Literally.
Sometimes, yeah, literally. So be careful. You know, if you're really looking for something, don't assume that the cover reflects the condition of the record.
So before we go to Jose, I'm going to throw up Brandon has a good one because this is actually one of the things I lean in on my collecting. Brandon says, my advice is to grab every album that was released in the 90s when we were in the 90s. Very true, because that's one of my bugaboos that I collect now. Even when I first started getting quasi serious about record collecting was going back and getting the music from the 90s because it's what I listened to. They didn't do a lot of it on vinyl. So to me, that was very interesting. And I'm sure you guys can relate. Some of the pressings from the 90s were just trash. I mean, I'm just going to say it. So it's more of like a collectible kind of thing, but I digress. Jose, if you could go back and tell little Jose or medium-sized Jose.
Don't show too many records.
my music journey, it's weird because for the longest time I didn't grew up listening to music in Spanish, which might sound weird to you guys, but my country's so influenced by the U.S. and American culture that I didn't grow up listening to a lot of music in Spanish, and I think that I would have a lot of grails and stuff if I did back then. I started collecting when I was 8, so I have a lot of stuff from that time, you know. And I don't know, like I would tell myself to listen to stuff that's local and things like that have gone on price, and now that I can't get even if I try real hard, you know, because I missed out on getting a lot of local stuff that I wanted that I can't have because they're not even on sale in Discogs, not even if you have the money.
Wow.
So my advice would be, you know, just to get a little more out there and not just listen to what's popular on the radio, and again, you know, try to be more open-minded when I was younger, because I was listening to a lot of horrible metal music, so I wish I was not doing that when I was younger. Yeah,
guys, I'm really surprised that no one picked up on the entrepreneurial spirit. Would no one open a pressing plant knowing that in 30, 40 years there would be a lack of pressing plants, and you could.
I would do that. I would just do a gold membership, right?
Well, if you wanna go that way, we can. Kurt Cobain don't do it, right?
I know too much about manufacturing to do that. Sorry.
Yeah.
No.
Jimi Hendrix, don't go there. I don't know.
This isn't Quantum Leap. Remember that show Quantum Leap where you would jump in the body and stuff? Yeah, not going there. Well, it's a good probably point to end this part of the presentation in terms of advice party. We'll get into the freestyle here in a little bit, but let's go and wrap up this episode of Surface Noise for Vinyl Community Podcast. I'm really thankful, as always, for my guests. Jason Rojas, thanks for joining, pal. Arnaldo, YouTube channel is Fidelios_frequency. David at Safe and Sound, Texas Audio Excursion, who has a really great video right now, cheap plug, on the Cars Rhino reissue, which is making the rounds in the community. So I'd highly encourage you to check that out. And then Jose has left us. Jose was sitting in his chair. Stage fright over. Anyway, thanks for joining us, buddies. We'll do it again in a couple weeks.
Okay. Thanks, everybody. Take care.
See ya.
See ya.
All right, freestyle time. Perfect. Okay. Jose, where did you really go?
To the bat
he
room,
went back
Robin.
To his younger self in the time machine. You know,
he's gonna come out in a diaper.
He's buying all the 90s records.
Yeah.
He went back.
He went to sell his Zappa record, the Dweezer.
Oh, that's funny.
Dweezil.
So Jason, let's just get into it. You were flexing, not even flexing. You were just showing those. You got both. You ordered both of those Rhino reissues.
Yep. This clown here. I ordered both of these. Rhino. You know.
Everybody loves a clown. So why don't you?
Wow, David, that's why I'm not on the show anymore, right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Ah.
Okay, let's not go there.
No, go there.
So yeah, I'm that guy who ordered both because actually, this is a great jazz record. It's not as well known as this Impulse, right?
Right.
I love this record. This record's solid.
Oh, yeah.
Come on. I don't have the MoFi. Why would I? I don't know. That's not my thing. When I heard that they did the MoFi, I was like, what? Are they going to separate everything? And that's what I heard they did. I heard a FLAC and they raised up the synth. And I'm like, why did they do that? This is like a rock record, And I heard some of the tracks on the Hoffman forums. Some person put the FLAC on there, and they sounded great.
Oh,
It
they're
sounded
great.
much more alive. So
Oh yeah. Big
I can't wait to just spin this. And thanks to David Safe and Sound for his video for that recommendation. So
No
this,
problem.
No
Yeah,
problem.
David, you're like, you almost convinced me to get it. I wasn't going to.
Almost. Oh, what's
Yeah.
holding you back, Arnaldo?
I have
No,
failed.
because actually, I'm not familiar with the album. So I went and I streamed it
Really?
after, and because my favorite one and the only one that I own is Heartbeat City.
That's a great one. That's a great one.
And
I
I
have to
went
do
back
that.
and I listened to it. And I was like, this actually has very good songs on it.
It is.
So
Huge, great debut album. One of the best. Yeah. It is.
So what about that Coltrane? Did anybody else get that Coltrane? Because I know I've seen a couple of videos. I've seen some Instagram posts. Tim, University of Vinyl. I know he.
Isn't there also a speaker's corner of that? Another audiophile.
No, like an ORG. It's the ORG.
Oh, it's an ORG. Okay.
2LP Bernie Grunman. But I don't have that. I actually own that USOG version of this, so I will do a comparison.
Looking forward to it. Yeah.
And then you're going to sell off the Rhino copy.
I feel like my Rhino stock is going to go down, right? I mean,
well, Jason, let's go back to what you said backstage when we were talking about this earlier. The packaging it came in on, because this is also something I'm hearing a lot of. Because you would think, and well, I would say you would think it'd be common sense if you're trying to advertise something. It's a premium product, audiophile. They're really trying to, especially at launch, to go what sounds like so cheap or ineffective or just bad judgment. You said there wasn't any inserts in your packaging, and how did it arrive? I mean, when this thing shows up at your door, you just got to be like, give me a effing break.
Right? When it arrived, it was just 2 records like this. No padding, nothing, no divider.
Yeah.
And I just looked at it and I was
like,
I was like, amateurs.
Oh, is that David? Is that the mailer? Do you have the literal mailer?
That's the literal mailer.
So it's just a base mailer. Yeah.
Base
Oh, come
mailer
on.
and the 2 records were in there. No padding, nothing, and no corner protection as well.
So I thought I heard somewhere, it was at Steve Westman's stream or somewhere, they said that they're aware of the issue.
They are.
And they're going to correct it going forward.
Apparently not, because Jason just got his copy today. That stream was a week ago, so.
Well, it was a Friday. Those things were already in queue. They're behind. I know.
Yeah, they probably already picked them. And
they're in queue already. So
Louis, this is a great way to bring you up here, because as someone who is going down the rabbit hole of Recommendation City, see what I did there?
Yeah. You can hear me, right?
For sure.
Heartbeat City.
Heartbeat City, yeah. Have you been intrigued and jumping in on this Rhino reissue thing that everybody's been talking about, or is that just not something you're
No, it's so hard for me to I'm like a dog seeing a squirrel with all this stuff, like one week it'll be like I'll watch a video and that'll be my thing, and then it'll be I'm not good enough of a collector or seasoned enough to be in on to intrinsically know that these are happening, because I'm not plugged in as much as you guys are yet.
So you're not going to be getting the car self-titled, is that safe to say?
No.
Well, if you don't even like who knows, if you don't even like the album, I have no idea, Louis, but that's the first thing, right?
Yeah, it's not something that I've discovered I like yet.
Okay.
That way. I know what the cars are and all that, but
of course I wouldn't bother spending.
Well, I do have a little bit of guilt though, Louis, because I did plant the seed with your first Mobile Fidelity record as part of our exchange program.
Yeah.
Now you have that Grateful Dead. I think Blues for Allah, I think is the one.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
System where I wouldn't be able to tell the difference anyway. So.
Come on.
No, I'm staying there for a while, man.
Okay.
I am having so much fun in like with all this stuff that I know the difference between good sound and bad sound because of recording music and engineering music. So
Sure.
like it's actually kind of fun to listen to just like music coming out of any old speakers because it's
Sure.
like a little bit more real, I guess. Plus, I don't want to spend the money yet.
I'm with you. Now, Patrick, is this legit? A product manager for Rhino last weekend. Listen, so you got the ears, at least at some place at Rhino.
So Patrick will break the news that these are not audiophile pressings. These use the DSPs. Yeah, right.
Well, they're
Patrick?
not audiophile pressings because of the very issue that they're not using virgin vinyl. You know, it's not really at that level. That's why in my
You're
latest video, I
using
went into
recycled
that.
vinyl on these?
I did not say that. No.
Okay.
It is new vinyl, but it is not transparent, like translucent, like
Okay,
super vinyl.
Okay.
So it's not high end vinyl; it's just standard vinyl at 180 grams.
Okay.
But
Because we know
quiet.
that these super formulations are always perfect and they're always dead quiet.
No. I mean, I think honestly, super vinyl is quieter than the UHQR stuff. Frankly, that's been my finding, pretty much. I mean, the super vinyls like ELO Eldorado and the Crosby, David Crosby, those are really quiet. Mine is more quiet. Yeah, I mean, I'll say my cars is very quiet too. It is. I mean, but my point is, it's not that formula. It's not at that price point. But they did a good job as far as that. Now, one person said that they had both. They bought both the records like Jason did, and said they were noisy. And that was the first time I had heard that from anybody. So, I mean, it can happen. Obviously, there can be bad pressings.
So, Jason, you want to take this one? This is from your pal, Alex Dickey. Can anyone confirm the rumors that the next Rhino rock release is AAA Kevin Gray Back in Black?
Can I take that one?
Oh, Arnaldo, go for it. Go for it.
You make me big.
Timing on that was absolutely perfect.
I'm just being honest. I had no idea. I was throwing a softball in a men's slow pitch league
That
to
was-
Arnaldo on that one. That
It's
was
never gonna happen again.
never delightful.
That's amazing.
That was Arnaldo. That's pretty strong. I gotta be honest with you. That was a pleasant surprise.
Mm-hmm.
That is strong.
Oh, too funny.
Where did Jose go?
Well, I'm wondering because I literally think he found like a wormhole time machine, and he's literally.
He went to stop Jimi Hendrix.
Kurt Cobain.
Kurt Cobain, right.
Like he
Mike
told
it-
us what he was going to do, and he's clearly doing it. So more power to him.
I thought we scared the shit out of him. But anyway,
I'm going to call this show. This is great. Where did Jose go? That's going to be
Right.
the new name for this
Yeah.
for the podcast when it comes up. Where did Jose go?
right.
Too funny. So easy topic. What kind of new stuff have you guys got in this week? Jason obviously got those Rhino releases. Anything exciting, interesting? Obviously, I showed you that Ryan Adams nonsense. I will say I didn't tell the epilogue to that. So the seller, when I contacted him, he's like, "Oh yeah, my bad. Just go ahead and keep it." And I was like, "I'll send it back to you. It's no big deal, or I'll throw you a couple bucks for it." And he's like, "No, just keep it. I don't want to mess with it." I was like, "All right." So. Which I thought was solid, but in that case, when I feel like the transaction didn't go the right way, but at least it worked out, I guess, whatever. I got a refund. He did give me a refund. I don't leave any feedback. Do you guys leave feedback in that situation? Because like, I could be a real turd,
No, I would never do that.
I just leave it alone and I just move on to my next failed Discogs transaction. Yeah.
When
Right.
something goes wrong and they fix it, I leave a good review.
You're a gentleman if you do that. Like,
Well, you can always, it's really objective. You know, if they are being an idiot or if something that they couldn't control happened or whatever, or if they're just late because they're, life was happening to them and this isn't their full-time job or whatever it is. It's like a Discogs purchase or something like that.
Patrick, I'm glad you said that because I actually bought that MoFi, and to my unseasoned ears, I was very unimpressed. It was one of the first MoFis I had purchased years ago.
Which one is it?
The car self-title.
Oh,
That I was very disappointed because again, the advertising is, before MoFi Gate, AAA, blah blah blah, and I was expecting it to just knock me out. Because I'll be honest, some of the stuff they've made, even the older stuff, like I have a Hotel California, the original one from the '80s they did. It's one of my best sounding records. Like it literally like was amazing. So my expectation was I was just buying more of that quality, and then I buy this car self-titled, and it was a stinker. So
Yeah, it was. Now Patrick made
Well,
a comment
I don't know
earlier
if you
about.
guys-
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. No, go ahead, David.
I say Patrick made a comment earlier about the Ambrosia self-titled,
Mhm.
and it's engineered by Parsons, and it was mastered by Doug Sachs, and it's on 20th Century Fox, and that is an amazing sounding album. It has their hit "Holding On to Yesterday," which they were a little more prog-ish early, and then they became like more top 40-ish when they went to Warner, and had some of their hits there. But that is a fabulous sounding album. I agree with that 100%. It's cheap to pick up.
Arnaldo, what were you gonna say?
Yeah, no, I don't know if you guys recall the infamous video about
There's so many. There's so many.
the one at MoFi with the engineers,
Is Jason
Oh,
in it?
oh, Papa Esposito's visit.
where,
Yeah.
where they were actually reminiscing about the great titles that they did, and they're also like citing the Cars. Oh, remember when we did the Cars? As if it was like a home run.
Yes.
So I don't have them. I don't have any of the MoFi.
The other ones, I
But
forgot.
that
I thought
wasn't
someone else said
DSD.
The other ones are decent, but
No, it was not, and because
It
they were
was not
saying
DSD.
they were saying, yeah, the Cars. I remember when we did that. It wasn't. It was analog.
Right.
So
so here,
With
so
the
this is-
first four letters being the focus in analog. I'll leave it with you there.
David, where are you performing this weekend? Is it?
Yeah.
is it
Will you
We're
be
gonna-
there all week?
Tip your
Comedy
tip your
Cellar
waiters.
and yeah. So Chilled Pint raises a real good question here. I'm waiting on any Van Halen release this summer. This is something that really I'm going to go on a rant. Pisses me off. These before with the long lead times, like I got it. I was sympathetic to it, but for the most part, supply chain correction is here for the most part. How in the hell have they not put out any of these stupid Van Halen titles that they advertised? It's over a year now. Like what are we waiting for? Like if any other business ran this way, like they'd be out of business. But both audiophile and the people, and I just scratch my head because literally they announce all the titles, they work up a fervor to the people who are interested in those things. I pre-ordered it, I'm not gonna lie. And here we are, almost we're going closer to 2 years than just 1 year. I mean, does that frustrate the hell out of you guys, or am I just like Dodo Island here?
Yeah, it's that's one thing I said about the Rhino thing. It was really nice. They announced it. You could order it. You got it, right? I mean,
Oh, hang on, we got breaking news.
Okay.
Now, Patrick says I can say that the Rhino mole. Oh, we gotta be careful of this vernacular. We could say the Rhino associate, like you go to Walmart, the associate, did spill there working on the Sammy Van Halen catalog. Yeah, it's kind of been like I've heard similar. I didn't know that Rhino. Well, I guess
Yeah, Warner Brothers.
Warner. Yeah, I guess that would make sense.
Leah.
Okay.
It's Warner Electric Leonard.
Yeah, you're right.
And they didn't do those to Mobile Fidelity, right? The Sammys.
No.
Yeah, no, the MoFis are only the David stuff. So this
Right.
would just be wider releases of the Sammy
Right.
stuff. So you're talking
Right.
for Unlawful Carnal Knowledge. I mean, the things that are harder to find. What's OU812? Well, yeah, 812 already came out about once, but so Jason, this is your buddy again, Alex Dickey. I'm sick of these MoFi release delays. What happened to DS on every
Dire
street?
Straits.
Dire Straits on every street that was shipping soon.
Yeah, that's going to be a big one. Not.
I mean, we could go down a rabbit hole.
They,
How they
they,
choose your
they might
titles.
sell more than Joni Mitchell. I don't know. Maybe it's going to be close. Wow.
Patrick, that is a $300 record that I have, and I should have bought. Talk about what coulda, shouldas. I saw another copy of this pre-COVID in San Francisco at the Amoeba, $75, which was about which was the going rate, right? And I was like, oh, I already have it. Shit, that's one of those ones that you're talking about, David. Keep and sleep. I could, because that could have been an opportunity to. Speaking of,
Jose. So
Jose, what?
did you save Kurt
Jose,
Cobain?
can you see?
What?
Did you save Kurt Cobain? You went back to the future?
No, so Amazon. Sorry, but my wife is waiting for some stuff for her work, and Amazon says that they deliver it. And there's nothing outside.
Send you a picture.
Yeah, your neighbors are playing with whatever that is right now.
PlayStation 5. What's up?
Hosiery.
No. But it's I went outside. There's no one because I know my neighbors. They
Oh, it's 2 blocks over for sure.
yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But someone's getting. You hear the Amazon
Happens all the time.
Delivered
Yes.
to the driver's house. You missed the
Yeah.
point.
Man, I hate fucking
Rick Beato stole your packages.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah, Rick
Patrick
Beato,
said.
he's getting you, Jose. He's waiting. He's been waiting to get you back, and here it is.
Patrick, right on
No,
that.
not that package. No, okay.
You know,
Okay.
Kurt Cobain didn't get murdered. So
That's
how much I could have gone back, graduated from therapy as a shrink and getting help, but
well,
Right.
Jose, I don't you need to put PhD behind your name because you did go back and
wait.
You can't do that unless you're already. We have someone in the vinyl community that says it's PhD, but he's not.
David,
Official.
spill the tea. Who is this?
I don't know.
What?
I'm not gonna.
Well, there's only one doctor that I know in the VC.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you guys are killing me. I thought I knew all these things.
And he plays the oboe.
Wow. All right, I'm
Not
gonna leave
the
it there
elbow.
because yeah,
Not
I
the
think if we
elbow,
can
the
connect the
elbow.
dots. Oh wow, interesting. All right, so back to records.
Back
What
to
other kind of
records.
records you guys picked up this week? Since the last time weeks ago, as I'm getting my light. Trust Jose, did you go back in time and mess with my electricity? Because
He's flashing there. He's just. What's going on?
any cool pickups? Any guys pick up anything cool since the last time we spoke 2 weeks ago?
I'll go get it.
All right.
Yeah, I have to go get them too.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
I'm trying to think. You know, it's kind of like, did I get it or did I just now open it? You know what I'm saying?
Sure, sure. Patrick, this is true. So that Walmart box, the Chris Bellman, I have it over there. They're pretty decent, but the problem is they had that pressing defect on Van Halen 1 that literally affected every. I have yet to meet somebody who did not suffer a Van Halen 1 on the side B. What is Jason's avatar? Help me out. I'm so.
I don't know, but
It's about letting go, right? About letting go. This is the hottest thing I got, signed by these guys who call themselves Steely.
Is that a
Dan.
new band? What is this? Who is this new band, Jason?
You know, Deacon Blues. It probably describes the Jazz Bums to
is
it. to me.
that Dan Steely right there?
Oh, Dan
Yeah.
Steely, hell of an artist. Hell of an
Yeah,
artist.
this one is
Right.
Dan, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is Steely right here.
They're
Yeah.
upside
It has
down.
the certificate of authentication, so this is it. Hot.
So you got a COA with that?
Yeah.
But what pressing is it? I don't give a darn about.
Oh my gosh, David.
What?
Is it the A B or
2006
whatever?
AB.
Yeah.
AA, you
AA.
know.
Oh, okay.
Jeez.
All right.
Pressed at Santa Maria. Thanks, Patrick. I had to look this
Well,
up, too.
That's the one to have.
But here it is, signed in its glory. But I think it's funny, like they signed it. You see how they signed it?
Upside down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird.
So is it? I'm sorry, I stepped away. Is it an AA or an AB?
AA.
Is there an A scratched out or something like that? No.
No. AA. But again, I bought it. I got it for a good deal. It was unbelievable. The guy listed it wrong, and he didn't list it under records. That's all I'm gonna say. It's
Can you? I'm assuming that you're inferring it was from the eBaymus situation.
yeah. They just again, I'm really lucky. Like So here it is. I own it.
Nice.
I love
Good
stuff like that.
Sometimes
Arnold?
you're lucky. I mean, it's not a turquoise Led Zeppelin, but
Hey, by the way, so Jason, it's funny you said that. So one of my locals is a
Is
guy.
that,
who's been-
wait. Is that
Jose,
is that
Jose,
elevator
what are you
music?
doing? Look
You
at
have
that.
to pay attention, Jose. Jason
He just
said
named
all that.
President
I
Kennedy.
went
Leave
back in
Jose alone.
time, right? And I met Walter Becker and Donald Fagen, and they signed it, Jose. With the
Yeah,
term.
but you know what? You know where one of them is dead. So
I know.
that's what happens when you sign records.
No, what I was going to say, Jason, is so one of my locals is a guy who's been, I think I've mentioned him before on the stream. He used to have like 9 shops back in the day. They're all consolidated to one, and I can still find some good stuff in there. So I was at the counter the other day, and he was cleaning Led Zeppelin 1, right? Like he just sits at the counter and cleans. And I said, "Hey, have you ever seen the Turquoise cover?" And he looked at me like I had two heads. He's like, "No." And I was like, "Oh man, you've never seen one in 40 plus years of owning stores?" He's like, "No, I've never seen one come in." So Jason, I had no idea that you literally had a unicorn. Like I knew that was a rare piece, but
Yeah, it's pretty rare. You know, in Spain they're doing bootlegs with the turquoise cover thing, which is pretty specific. Like you have to know the
Are they
type of
aging them
stuff.
as well? Because if you see a spanking,
Yeah. For example, I think I've showed it on Rachel's before, but I bought one of those like bootlegs because I didn't like they fooled me, you know, because he was aged and everything. It's Tom Waits. Is this? It's a Bone Machine.
that's
But
not
it was-
even a hard record to find.
It is. This is
It
like
is?
$150 record. Yeah. So it's like it was pretty aged and all the corners were everything. And the weird thing about some places in Spain is that they repackage used records because instead of doing like the sleeve and every few years they have to change it, they re-seal them or whatever,
sure.
and that way they can sell them like if it was new. So he told me, "Oh, that's a used record." That's what the person that sold me it told me. But and it's actually pretty good bootleg because it sounds good, but it also has this, which not a lot of bootlegs have. This dent here where they put the label on. It's
Yeah, but-
normally for bootlegs, it's very smooth, and because it's just like a sticker they put. It doesn't have this. So in order to do this, like they have to know what they're doing.
Like precisely, yeah, because you
Yeah.
can even a little bit off, and it looks, yeah.
And the only thing that this doesn't have is it doesn't have a writing on the dead wax. It doesn't have any. So that's how I know it's a bootleg.
Well, I know that back to that Zeppelin one. I know Jason obviously has one. I think he has one on the ready. I know you're tapping your toes. One to
Yeah,
show.
well, I'll stop showing it. It's too much for
No,
people.
but I think Dylan Smith, Noble Records, has one. Anybody else? Have you guys seen? Yeah, oh yeah, he did a video. I was pretty sure.
Oh yeah.
I've seen one with my own eyes.
You've seen one with your own eyes,
Yeah.
like a legit one, not a bootleg.
Yeah. In Florida.
David, you're nodding too. You've seen one
I've
before.
seen
too?
several in Europe.
Okay. Oh, in Europe. Okay.
I mean, I saw it in Den Bosch. It was like there, like easily like 1,200, 1,500. It's there.
Yeah.
You want it? Just drop the money.
Wow.
Jose in that time machine, man.
Hey, listen, when Jose comes back and his whole background has changed and it's gold and marble and
Yeah,
it's like
right.
the villain in Roadhouse, it's like his place, then you'll know Jose.
It's in Roadhouse. It's great.
So here's a sleeper. It made me think of it when I saw a signed version. This is a signed copy of Michael Nesmith's album.
Okay, hang on, I got you.
It's called the newer stuff. This is the songs are great and the pressing and the mix and the mastering is great on this. If you ever see this, grab it. It's not, you won't see it that much, but it really is. It's all of the stuff he did when he was doing his video work in the late 70s, early 80s, like Elephant Parts, which was a first Grammy winner for video.
So that's an 80s record, David?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it is, like I said, it's really unbelievable sounding.
Did you get it signed or did you buy it signed?
No, I got it signed.
Okay. Louis, new records. Go.
I'll have to grab them from behind me, but I do have a different medium. I don't know if you guys are familiar with. It's called a book. You heard of these?
What? What is
Yeah,
it?
it's
Is
apparently
it like a
like a-
magazine,
like a
periodical?
visual. Yeah, it's
Oh, I got
actually
one of
this.
those.
If you want to ruin your life,
See, it's got.
Yeah. if the audiophiles out there want to be open-minded and ruin their lives, this is Every Brain Needs Music: The Neuroscience Behind Listening and Making Music.
And who wrote that?
Larry S. Sherman and Dennis Plies.
Okay, great.
And it goes deep, like synapse level.
Yeah, I did a video on that actually.
You did?
Yes.
Then you know
I
it's
do.
sick. And the research they did is pretty good.
Pretty
and,
intense. Yeah.
I was reading it as I was having musical burnout, which was like, explaining a lot of what's going on. And I haven't finished it yet, but it's like, I can just imagine like an audiophile reading it, be like, screw that. It's not how my brain works.
Yeah.
But I did get some new ones. You can skip me. I'll put a couple on. I think you know what I'm gonna.
Oh no, I want you to. I want you to.
Yeah.
This is a sneak preview of that.
If you're older like me, you realize that what's in that book is dead accurate.
Yes.
But younger people, I think it's a little Darwinian, I guess. But yeah, it's really valid.
Look what I found.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Are you down? Hey Louis, are you down with OPP?
I used to be.
That's when you got to say, yeah, you know me.
Yeah,
Come
right.
on, Louis. I teed
I
that
wonder-
one up for you.
I know. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is a white label promo.
Oh,
I'm
my.
sorry. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh,
Did
we
you-
got a promo stamp too.
Did
Yeah.
you get Treach to sign it? I wonder what Treach is doing right now.
I think he's working at a Burger King and in La Jolla.
Oh man, that was the biggest song of that summer.
That was a
I hope
jammer.
he's-
No, I've never seen. So they did that reissue maybe a year ago on like the splattered vinyl. So I got that one, but I went to my local on a hunt, and Louis has already heard a little bit of this, but you guys are gonna laugh. Let me pull it. Oh, where is he? Where is he? Where is he? Here he is. Here he is.
Oh, that's my favorite Billy Joel record.
Yeah,
That's
of
the
course
one.
Jason instantly
That's
knows
the
it.
one.
Look at him.
Attila.
God damn, look at him.
I know.
I mean-
what a weirdo.
That hair. Like he's like, who is he? Leonardo da Vinci? Like, who is he? He's
The story behind the relationship he has with that other dude on the cover is sick.
Well, I know this is one of those things. Yeah, this is I obviously. Yeah, the
Hey,
fact
Chance,
that,
do you like Billy Joel?
yeah, I do. Yeah.
You like Billy Joel? Do you like Billy Joel?
Well, David, his friends, he prefers his friends call him William because Billy is just so played out. So yes, William and I are quite on a first name basis. Yes,
Okay. So if I send this to you, you'd be okay with that?
I wouldn't complain. I wouldn't turn you down. But
I've never seen that Attila. I've never seen that Attila record.
and neither had I. Going back to what we were talking about before,
Yeah.
I went to one of my locals 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it was in the hot bin. Right, he had like new arrivals and then the hot bin. But the price sticker when I saw it, because I heard of it and I was like, oh, I'd never seen one before. Do your guys' stores? Are you familiar with stores that actually have the date, the receipt date of when they process? So the store had that, and it said it came in March. So I'm like, this must not be that hot. So I was trying to follow the Jason Rojas axiom and wait, it'll show up again. But then, as Louis has heard this, I started deep diving on a little bit of the background, and when I heard about their first band, I forget the name of the first band, but they left, and
Hassel. Yeah.
and Billy had actually slept with this guy's wife, and then they still formed the
Yeah.
Attila. And then my favorite part, urban legend, is that Billy hates this record so much, so much that when he's traveling or his assistants, they have an eye out. They go to record stores, and if they find it, they buy it to destroy it. He wants no living copies of this title. So once I heard that,
The value is going to go up.
yeah, it was like I jumped into Mystery Machine. I left Scooby and Scrappy and Pappy and all them behind, and I just made it right to my local, and I couldn't,
There's no way that's true.
Yeah, that's probably true.
If I were met Billy Joel, that would be the record he would sign. I would just be like, here. sign
Yeah, oh
it.
God.
I do have.
I heard Christy Brinkley does that with all his records.
You're not going to take credit for the OPP Attila link
what's the
because he was boning that guy's wife.
oh.
I thought that was genius. Well, here's this Billy Joel record, and then here's OPP.
I should have done them in reverse order.
No,
No,
yeah,
I
yeah,
bought them at the same store actually.
I don't know
That's not like a-
Before
All right,
Jose
wait.
starts showing his 1,000
Yeah,
records,
he's
can
gonna-
I-
let's Arnaldo, what do you got, pal?
I got this back in when it came out on CD. I think it was 2010.
What is it?
It's a Rufus Wainwright album.
Oh, nice. Oh, I know that. That's part 2. What is it? Yeah.
This is Lulu, your favorite record. Lulu?
Yeah, it's cool. It is actually. Is that his signature? That's flamboyant as all hell. That's
No, that's not. No, this one's not signed. That's just
Oh, all right.
that's the hype
It's a
sticker
All right.
that some people in the vinyl community throw away.
Yeah.
Mazzy.
But this actually has the title and the artist, so you can't throw this away. It's not a hype. It's actually
Right.
part of the
Part
record.
of the construct.
But the reason why, well, besides the fact that I just got it this week, I wanted to show it, is here. It's a double record, right? So here's one of the sides.
All
And
right.
check this out.
Oh,
Oh no.
What is
weird.
that?
Oh, it's off center.
It's so off center.
Oh my god.
that's pretty cool.
But Arnold, they control with the plants is better now.
I think like the run out groove is right on the label.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. The label's just off center.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
When
Right,
Walt
okay.
I was like, wait, there's two holes there? And I was like, no,
It's a
that's
marker.
the fake hole,
That's
and that's the
that's-
real one.
So it plays fine, of course, right?
Yeah, it does, but I can't let it go on the run out groove.
It might-
Right, because it's
Oh,
going
that'll-
Because it'll hit the paper. Yeah, yeah. Tear your needle off.
Yeah, and then
I-
a few weeks ago in the Acoustic Sounds sale,
Oh, which I want to talk about more, but
I got a few records, and one of the records that I got was this.
Jeez. Oh, Jill Scott. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Who is?
Jill Scott.
Yeah, who is he? What is he?
Who is Jill Scott?
Yes.
She's like neo soul.
All right.
This is her debut album. It's fantastic. I mean, if you're into to say she's like Erica Badu, it's probably not appropriate, but it's in that vibe. She's like
Probably
neo
not
soul.
appropriate.
Late 90s, early 2000s was
Yeah,
probably
this is
like-
early 2000. This
Yeah,
is
yeah,
early
yeah, yeah.
2000.
East,
Right
East Coast,
out of
I think. Yeah.
the Philly scene, with
Yep.
the Roots, that whole kind of scene. And it came with two records that are exactly the same. So basically, I got two
Oh, for
ones.
I know.
So on the disclaimer on all the titles that are on sale is final
Yeah,
sale.
Yes, yes.
So I was like, "Fuck!" Now I'm screwed. And I'm like, so I sent an email to customer service, and I explained it. I was like, the record's not defective. I just got two of record one, and they honored it, and they sent me another copy.
Good.
I
good.
returned it. They gave me a return label.
So you
and
didn't have to destroy it. I know sometimes.
No, I didn't. No, I had to send it back.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was shocked actually they honored it because it's a $16 record, So I figure, yes, hit the like button or dislike button, right?
Yeah. Hit the dislike button. I'm used to it by now.
And then I found there's a record. I don't want to call it a record store in my neighborhood.
Well, what would you call it if it's not a
Right,
record
Well, I
store?
don't know because when I
Record
went there,
Dungeon.
they sell everything. They sell toys.
Oh, that's Urban Outfitters.
They sell
Minute Maid.
toys, they sell comics, they sell everything. And
Adult
I
toys?
only came across it because on Facebook it came up on my feed. There's this guy, it's like Forest Hills Record Store. It's not called Forest Hills Record Store, it's called something else. And there's a crates and advertising $5 records. And I'm like, oh, I might as well just go check it out. And these are the things that I found.
All right, hang on. Oh, Ryman Simon.
Oh, well, that's a good record. It has one good song.
Oh, come on, Jose. Come on. Now you're shitting on Paul Simon?
No, I love Paul Simon, but you and I know it has like one or two good songs.
All right. It's got
Kodachrome.
Kodachrome.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
got Something So Right. Loves Me Like a Rock. That's already 4 songs that are good on here. So
That was like 2 or 3. But
I
yeah.
heard 3, but
Yeah, I heard 3. I heard 3. Me too.
Arnaldo, please
there is
continue
a
to show us your
multi on that.
$5 records. I don't want an international
multi.
incident on the stream.
I'll show a counting book next.
Kodachrome.
Kodachrome, that's a
Yeah,
good song.
Kodachrome's good.
Something So Right. Here it is. Love Me Like a Rock.
It's a good
Right.
record. I have it.
All right. One Man's Ceiling is Another Man's Floor. Those are good songs.
Yeah, but it's
All right.
it's
This
not-
one I only got for a couple songs. It was $5. See, I'm not following your rule, right?
Oh no, I wouldn't.
Oh
you
my!
couldn't gift
Yeah,
that.
it's a good record. It's a good one. Killing of Georgie's on that, right?
Yeah, and it's for 2 songs I got it for Tonight's the
Yeah.
Night and The Killing of Georgie. And also the first cut is the deepest. That's his cover of
Yeah.
the Cat
You didn't
Stevens.
say cut, right?
I had to have a Platters record.
I
because
heard cut, yes.
I heard cut. Okay.
These are going down in
Jesus
All right.
Christ.
Please continue sharing, Arnaldo. Don't
Well,
take the
here's the
razzie.
thing. I was like, this typically probably would be a $2 record, right?
Of course.
But when I looked at it inside, it's a mono, and it was in like, it's an amazing shape for being a record from like 1960.
It's a re-release. It's a reissue. I know that.
No, it's not, David. I looked it up. Sorry.
Oh,
I don't know that. Is that label? I thought there was a black label. of
that's
that one.
fine.
No, this is a mono red Mercury. So no, I looked it up.
I would be curious to ask if anybody here has Tom and Jerry records.
No, I don't have any.
And then to
But I-
continue in the Rod Stewart vein, I got this one too.
Okay.
But I
don't know the record.
So
I got something close. This is from Stunty, right? Isn't this Stunty kind of stuff? You know,
That's
Yeah,
cool.
it is. Yeah.
power.
prized
That's
possession,
1,000.
David.
But
Prized
this-
possession.
but this-
1,000.
But this is a really cool one. This is a radio station copy of Us and Them.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
Pink
got
Floyd,
mono on one side and
I didn't know
stereo
that
on
they
the other.
pressed it on that Harvest label.
Yep.
Because that's a reissue. That's why.
Well, on the Harvest.
Take
Touche.
that.
Touche.
Take that.
Hey, real fast. So Arnaldo showing those records made me think of something. Rod Stewart. I saw he's selling his Beverly Hills mansion for $70 million. But in terms of where he is, I mean, the current young people probably have no idea about him. Is he overrated, properly rated?
He's
Or
properly
underrated?
rated. Properly rated.
You think so?
I mean, I don't know how he's viewing the U.S., but over here it's more of like moms like him.
Yes. No, it's that way here too.
So I think it's probably properly rated. I like Faces.
I mean, he's got a $70 million.
You know, I like Ooh La La. I think that's one of my.
Cougar's greatest hits.
Yeah, I mean, he sang on Truth. I mean, come on, guys. The Jeff Beck album.
Yes, he did.
And Faces.
I have a
right?
I have a interesting. I think I've told this to Jason, and I think he agreed. But I'm not saying that I'm happy he died. Of course not, right? But I think that if Jeff Buckley had like 3 or 4 albums, I might have gotten a little sick of the thing going, you know, like a little bit. But that's fine.
Jose, I need to make a
Enter.
sizzle reel for the podcast. Can you do that sound again so I can have them?
Right. So one
hold
time
that
thing,
note.
But what is your take on that horrible take on Jeff Buckley, Arnaldo?
No, I beg to differ.
Do you think you would have loved it like 4 albums in?
Maybe it would have changed.
Oh, maybe, yeah. Maybe.
Yeah, I love both of those albums that he put out. I mean, even the posthumous album.
Yeah,
you could tell there was some reworking of songs, some post production.
My wife there's a demo that he recorded with the singer for Cocteau Twins. Have you ever listened to that?
Oh yeah, I heard that. Actually, they were dating.
Yeah, but
They were
the
dating
story that-
Elizabeth Fraser. Yeah.
you know that she hates. Well, she doesn't hate that song, but she doesn't want it out.
Yeah, I know. I didn't even know that they were dating for around that time. It was like maybe I don't know if it was right before he died.
No,
See, he's not all that bad.
no, I don't
It's
think
fun.
Rod Stewart's bad, but
It's
I don't know if I would buy a record from him.
He's fun. I mean, this is that original UK, right? Every
Mm.
picture tells a story. Yeah.
You know, I used to get him confused with what's the other guy that looks like him?
Elton John. Just-
No, that looks like him.
Who looks like him? Nobody looks like him.
Of course, Barry
Ron
Manilow.
Will. Who?
Oh, Barry
Oh,
Manilow.
I hope Matt's not here.
No.
Matt'll he'll rage up here and just get you, Jose.
My-
Oh, you want me to pull out my Manilow album? It's like we
Yes,
did that other
please,
time.
please.
Okay.
I don't dislike that. You know, it's like yesterday. Instead of getting this horrible Dweezil Zappa record, I could have had a great time and bought
Yes,
some.
You should not be speaking bad about Rod
Qualified.
Stewart by holding that Dweezil Zappa album.
All right, horrible cover. But I think he has a cover like this. Like I can't remember the name of the Zappa record that looks like this one, but it does have that thing. But this is a horrible record.
Yeah,
Nobody
there are
knows.
a few people in the Peanut Gallery that do not like Jeff Buckley.
Really? Wow.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I love that first.
Take away the
record.
reg. Reds, take away their reg.
Oh, this is my boy. Talking about I love Paul Simon. I love a Jewish guy from New York, but this guy has this is a very underrated record.
So is
Very
Breakaway. So is Breakaway.
Oh yeah,
Breakaway's a
Breakaway
great
is pretty good.
Yeah.
But the Randy Newman song, the old man, that's a tearjerker if I heard one.
I saw him in concert about 5 years ago with a symphony, and it was amazing.
Oh yeah, well, how his voice? I thought he
His
lost
his voice was good. No, his voice was strong.
It was good. This is a record. If I can recommend, not judging a book by its cover, I would recommend this record. It's a folk psychedelic folk record. Very like if you find a first copy of it, it's like $1,000, but this is a pretty nice reissue. I think the reissue is going for like $100, but if you see it, I would suggest it because it's worth it. He even plays like sitar, which is weird. But
Hey, one thing I wanted to circle back on is that Acoustic Sounds sale.
oh, all right.
And specifically, I mean, they're not the only one. There's several sales that are popping up. If it's Experience Vinyl has one. I mean, I'm getting a lot of email bombs, but let's hone in on it for a second. These sales, I mean, I got to be honest. Outside of maybe one or two, I didn't really see anything that was really exciting. Is this just simply we did a bad buy and now we're just getting out of this stuff? Help us, because I know
It looks like it.
it's taken a couple different iterations. Like 3 weeks ago, or even longer, they had records for like $5. Like
There was quite a few Blue Notes in there in the Acoustic Sound sale. I picked up, I think, oh my god,
$5.
There was another $5 one, David. Yeah, that was like about a month.
no, there was was that $5?
About a month ago. Yeah, it was.
I saw the Adele was like $5 or $6.
Same thing.
No,
But-
they paid you $5 or $6 to take it. Sorry.
Yeah, right.
You got that wrong.
And I'm actually on the fence about getting the Harvest box set
The Harvest.
because that's also on sale on.
How much is it?
The Blu-ray is really good, and
and then there's like a single, and there's also the live, right?
yeah, that's an
And the
amazing.
Blu-ray,
live.
is it worth getting for $97?
Oh well, see if you can get cheaper. See what Amazon.
Well, I can't bargain with Chad. That's it.
Well,
Yeah, barter
really,
with Acoustic Sounds. This is new information.
This
I
is
think you've opened the floodgates here with Jose.
I know, Jose. The dam has sprung a leak. Yes, Jose.
this is the best bootleg so far from the Neil Young stuff.
But Neil does not like bootlegs. He does not like.
Who is
making
this
no money.
Neil Young you guys talk about?
The fuck is he? You don't know.
This
Neil Young?
is like one of some obscure stuff you're into.
No, absolutely.
Well, but this is live at Massey Hall. Pretty
It's
good.
in Fort Worth,
Look
right?
up.
Isn't that Fort Worth, Texas?
No, this is Massey Hall. I think it's Canada, right?
Oh, I thought there's a Massey Hall in Fort Worth too.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
Massey Hall, 1971. But it's interesting because he literally says, nice pick. He literally says, this is a new song, and he plays like Old Man and stuff like
Old man, take a look at my life.
Yeah, but he's like, I've never sang this song, and he plays like whatever.
I think you should
Yeah.
cover those songs because that sounds better than Neil Young.
Hey, listen. Here's a hot take. You guys ready for this?
You know,
So a couple of years ago, and I apologize if you've already heard this somewhere else from me. I went to this festival called Bottle Rocks. It's in Napa, and they had Neil Young was one of the performers, and I've never seen Neil. He played Bonnaroo one time. I went with like Crosby, like whatever one of those incarnations. I did not see him there, so I made an intentional decision to watch Neil Young, and this is probably 3 or 4 years ago, so within the recent past. And
how was it, Chance?
well, hang on. Here comes the punchline. It was terrible. So much so we
shit.
left. Like we left. We started right at the stage. Like we waited, and we're right on the rail. So here's Neil Young.
Slowly backing away.
Right,
and terrible
exactly.
singer man.
Step by
Back-
step,
Back
inch by
away
inch.
from.
And he had Promise of the Real was the backing band, who I kind of like, and I was like, cool, this should be all right. First song is like, ooh. Second song, to your point, Louis, I'm like, let's get a little bit. Maybe we're too close.
I can't be associated with this performance.
No, so by the time it was like song 6 or 7, we're like hundreds and hundreds of feet away from the stage, and I look at my wife and I'm like, this is not good. Am I like, am I too intoxicated? Like, what's going on? She's like, no, this is bad. We need to leave. Let's beat the traffic. It was the old let's beat the traffic move. So I think I missed that window.
What
where Neil
exactly
would
was
be
it? Did he not sound good? Did the band not sound good? Was
He did
the
not-
sound off?
He did not sound good, to be honest with you. And and again, rock legend. Like I'm not trying to take a giant steamer on him, but
Well,
you can if you want to. It's your opinion.
That's true. It is my.
Thank you, Louis.
Well, when you
you're
see
right.
when you see all these older people playing, it's always going to be shit. I saw Brian
some-
Wilson, and I was like, I didn't even want to see. He was like on the piano.
That's a good
Well,
deal.
Brian Wilson's also insane.
Yeah,
and
but it
has
doesn't
been for
matter.
30
Like
years, 50
he's
years.
touring and he tours and everything, and he sang like 2 songs, and I think he fakely played piano in one.
He wasn't even touching.
I don't
the
think he's
keys. He was
able
just
to.
like,
No,
hot box.
Jose's right about that. Yeah, someone who saw him, he basically sits behind the piano or the keyboard and plays a few notes and lets most of the backing band do everything. Yeah, it's just
Yeah, it's not good. I saw Bob Dylan, and I have good memories of going to see him. I saw him in Bridgeport, Connecticut, very specific place to see him. But I saw him there with Wilco and My Morning Jacket. That was a great
I'll bet that was
little
good.
festival, and he sang like everything that I wanted. But again, he didn't play guitar in the whole show, and he played piano standing up like 2 songs, and he made like weird poses. And a guy from Rolling Stone magazine was next to me, and he was like shitting on every song. That shit, like, and it was very funny.
Jose, was it David Frick, the ultimate rock critic? David Frick.
No,
My
no, it
opinions.
wasn't him.
Listen
You know,
to me. I'm serious. I'm David Frick, and I've seen it all, and my opinion matters. David
No,
Frick.
Get the frick out of here.
You know, my cousin's wife used to work at Rockefeller Plaza for Rolling Stone, doing I don't know what you call it in English, with the design, which you put like the photo here and then the columns here. I don't know what that is, but so that specific day,
layout. She was in layout.
layout, yeah.
Layout.
That specific day, she was like, "Hey, you want to go to Rolling Stone magazine headquarters with me?" And I was like, "Oh shit, like that's amazing!" But I'm gonna go see Bob Dylan. That was my graduation present from my parents, because I want to go to New York and see him. And I think he sold out, and I went to see him in Bridgeport. That was fine.
Jeff
But,
had a comment. Oh, you're in the middle of the story. Sorry.
No, but quick. So she told me like, well, you might want to come, because I won't tell you why, but it's a good reason why. And I was like, no, like I'll do it. So the next day, she was like, hey, how's the show? Very New York type of response. Instead of saying like, oh, you should have come, she was just like, oh, how was your show? It's like, oh, it was good. And she was like, oh, look. And then she showed me a photo that she had met Paul McCartney because he was in the building that day.
Oh, jeez.
So, I still don't regret it, because I'm not a Paul McCartney fan, but it was pretty interesting. I could have, at least had a photo with him, and instead of I saw Bob Dylan losing his mind.
Can you say that again, Jose?
What? That I saw Bob Dylan?
No, the part before that. Rewind again.
That I could have seen Paul McCartney?
Yeah, but then what else did you say?
But I instead I saw Bob Dylan.
You're not a Paul McCartney fan?
No, I'm not a Paul McCartney fan at all.
Oh,
Are you a John Lennon fan?
Thank God. At
No, I'm
least
Harry Harrison.
insane hot takes from Jose.
I look, I'll say this. There are records that I enjoy of Paul McCartney. There's one called Chaos and Creation in the Backyard. I think that's
I've got that.
Jenny
That's
Rang.
great.
I think that's a great, beautiful
That's the
song.
one. That's the one produced by Nigel Godrich, the Radiohead
Yeah.
producer.
I love that record. I think it's a very beautiful one. There's like a session he did in Abbey Road for that record. I think that's pretty good. But I really don't like. I've tried Wings. It's good. Like that Band on Their Own record. I think it's good.
You don't have to explain yourself.
But
Jose,
You're trying to say
Michael
say
Jackson, the duet to end all duets. Come on.
so. You're trying to say that you're not a fan of Paul McCartney's.
I'm saying
solo
that I
music.
own the Wedding album. That's what I'm saying.
I know that's really
And he knows where everything is instantly. That's like Jesus Christ. Like, hey, this record that we've been talking about that's super rare.
No, it's not that rare. You know, it's next to my Einstein and on the beach, so that's pretty good. This is a great reissue, by the way. I don't know if anybody here is into.
No, your
a
time
classical.
is friggin' up. Get him out of here. No. See how he sneaks him in? It's like, he's a maestro at this. It's like perfect.
And then we're going to take his advice. Don't believe what people tell you that it's a great album. Go listen to it for yourself. So, Jose, don't even bother taking anything out because we're not going to believe you.
Yeah.
All right,
I'm gonna stream it all first. That's
let's
right.
talk about records that Jose definitely doesn't have. Okay.
Hey, I will say,
No,
I will-
but
because I got
incidentally,
some.
you showed that Swans record. Is that an original or a repress?
Well, it was never released before. This is the original box set that came out on vinyl.
That was never originally on vinyl?
No. It got released on cassette. I think in one country. I think it's Slovenia or something like that. And then they reissued this like 4 or 5 years ago, and this is like $400. And then they just did like a gatefold thing because it's a 4 LP set. But this is very beautiful. But this is the box set version. Yeah, I play this a lot. And it's very beautiful because it's like all the artwork is like the different sleeve and everything. It's pretty good. If
Jose,
you're into ones.
Is
Jose,
this the
you're
one
gonna-
you're talking about, Jose?
Oh yeah, I love that record. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's
this is a great McCartney record.
But
Yeah, that's pretty rare. It's not that easy to find.
fuck Ebony and Ivory. That's the horrible song. Oh, that Christmas song. And Paul McCartney 2. Nobody can tell me that Paul McCartney 2 it's good. That's a horrible record.
David, you want to read this one? This seems like you would have said this one. This is Jason, my friend in Canada.
I love
Viagra
him.
Boys.
I
Stand
have that
up,
record,
dudes.
David, this is your influence, David.
Get your peaches.
I think he's referring to the band, and which I
Yeah,
love.
the big-
Yeah.
Yes, I have that.
But,
I have the recent record.
Why is Ronaldo's thing Alex Dickey?
You were in your time machine for this whole thing. You missed.
Oh,
it.
Yeah.
right.
When you went through the time vortex, Arnaldo played the greatest ruse that was ever played so far on the
Wow.
Surface Noise program.
I was fighting Jeff Bezos with my.
Yeah.
Hey, you know where I went to? I saw Dead and Company last night,
Oh,
and
Oh.
I got to be honest.
sorry for you. Oh, okay.
No, listen. Hey, listen. I'm gonna This is unpopular take number 2. John Mayer,
He's
badass.
He's
Badass.
amazingly good.
Badass.
It
Yeah,
was
like
good, right?
it was really good. Yeah. Now the jam band stuff, when I've seen it, it can lose me. Like when they go on a song for like 30 minutes, like I think I could probably find better things to do with my time. But his playing. And does anybody know? Like maybe it was just our show, but he was wearing headphones. all the
Headphones,
time.
yeah.
That's not his move, right? Like, why is he doing that?
It's a new move. I don't know.
No,
Also sick
I-
and not being able to hear himself.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in ears. Instead of that, he just have the big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody asked me and I had no idea, but I tell you, like I liked him before. I like his albums. You've heard me talk before. He's one of the great stickmen in current pop culture because his dating resume is very impressive. But the guitar playing, maybe even more so.
He's an amazing guitar player. I mean, he's above criticism.
Oh, he plays guitar like nobody else, but I hate his.
Yeah, that's fair. I hear that too. Like he's got a really unique voice, right?
If when I go to visit my sister and she puts like "Waiting on the World," I hate that shit.
Jose jumps out the window like the building's on fire.
Yeah, I'll go 9/11 on that bitch. Like, sorry.
Wow, Jose.
I forgot he's American. But yeah, so it's pretty. I don't like that at all. I mean, he's playing guitar. It's good. I like Bob Weir, how he sounds now.
Yeah, Bobby sounded pretty good. I mean, he's pushing.
I can't believe he's still as with it as he is. I cannot.
Phil Lesh, it's still playing, but he does his own thing now. Feeling friends with I think it's his sons. He has like a bar, and he Terrapin Station, something like that it's called, and he plays there. But
something that only he could use the name for.
Yeah, basically. But he's a very interesting individual. But John Mayer, I would definitely go and see Dead and Company because it's a last.
Well, this is their last run. That was part of my call to action because I'm like, you know what?
No, and how long was it? Was it like 2 or 3 hours?
Oh, it was well. This was unique, and again, I've never been to a Dead show before, but they played for like an hour. Then they took an intermission, which was almost half an hour,
Oh,
and then they played for probably another 2.5, 3 hours. So we left early because we were parked at the literally last row of the parking lot, and there was no way in hell I was going to sit in 4-hour traffic. So I pulled the old guy card, and I'm like, all right,
I do
we're
that.
out of here.
I don't understand how Louis can say that he doesn't like dead stuff, live dead stuff, because that's like if I can only have dead stuff, I'm gonna have.
Have you ever seen the Grateful Dead live?
No, he was dead before I was born, so.
Oh, that'll do it.
So Jason's got a question.
But I have the recordings that I can listen to. And
Yeah.
So Jason said, I picked up American Beauty, my first Dead album. What's another must-have?
Definitely
Jason.
not in the dark.
Oh my God, Working Man's Dead. Don't get the one. Do not.
Jason, no, Jose, we're gonna put you in record showing timeout.
Holy
Jason,
smokes.
please.
Get Working Man's Dead. Get Live Dead before you get that in the dark.
I say my personal Europe 72. That's 3.
Yeah, Europe 72. Europe 72. It's which record I said earlier that was the best live one. It's probably actually
Jose. When you show 400 records in 20 minutes,
it was the Talking Heads record.
Oh, Stop Making Sense.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah.
But
it should be the title of this show.
Yeah, Stop Making Sense. But I think that Europe 72 is a great thing. I have a friend that his dad owns the suitcase version. I don't know if anyone here knows what that is.
Mm-mm.
But there's a suitcase version that they release on CD with all the shows they did on Europe 72. It's like $1,000.
Did anybody happen to pick up that? I know Vinyl Me Please just talked about they're reissuing that Grateful Dead box.
Oh, I want that so bad, and I'm not.
I want it so bad, but for the price it is, I can't justify.
No, I can't either.
Paying that much.
Jason, you're even shaking your head. You're not going to pick that one up?
No, that's too much. That's crazy to me.
It's great. It's crazy money because I can't understand why they would do it for that price. Because look, everybody fucking has American Beauty. If you like the Grateful Dead, that's a great set. If you
not everybody's been into it for a million years. This person's getting into it.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is if you've not been like the biggest fan so far and you only stream it, that's a great box set. But I already own all the records minus what is it? Safety Net? What is it?
Without a Net.
Without a Net. I mean, that's a pretty solid.
I'm gonna start a GoFundMe to get me that box set.
Yeah.
When Michael 45 reviewed it, and he really like got close up with the camera, pulled everything out. It was just like, oh my God. Just finding the studio albums right now for me is impossibly expensive.
For the studio records?
Yeah.
Well, I saw you bought the MoFi.
No, well, Chance and I have an exchange program. I have the Vinyl Me Please of that.
I also have it. I have like 3 versions of it.
Well, send me anything you don't want.
He's got all the bootlegs, right, Jose? He's got all the bootlegs on them.
Why are you showing a Weezer album that has nothing?
Yeah, what are you just like showing stuff?
So, David, I have a question. The Chaos in the Backyard, which version do you have?
It's a 2018 edition.
Oh,
so it's a reissue.
You don't have the OG that is in a gatefold?
No, I do not.
No, that's who you were. We thought you may have found that wormhole that Jose was in.
It's one-upping Festus.
No, they did that in a booklet.
Yeah, and it comes with the prints.
Right. Yeah, I got those. Yeah, I got the prints in that.
So the prints come in the reissue?
Yes.
Okay, I thought they skimped on that.
No, they skipped on the gatefold.
They skimped on the gatefold. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I got this for like $12 in Sweden, so it was just something I didn't have. You know what I'm saying?
No, but I'm not a Paul McCartney fan. I think that.
Did you ever listen to Ram?
Ram is great.
Yeah,
Ram is a classic to me.
I don't like it.
Band on the Run?
Yeah, that one is okay.
Hey, Jason, can you read this one? This is science.
Newton's 0.5, like half law. A Jose showing records will stay showing records unless acted upon by an outside force.
Right.
It's just science.
Yeah. Happy to be that force.
Thank you, Joe.
Hey, here, I'll pull a play out of your book, Jose. You got this?
Oh, here it comes.
No. What is that?
This
that
is what would
porn?
happen if Slayer were
Oh.
cowboys.
Oh, that's
You,
Burt
you
Reynolds,
started
right?
wrong there. If you mention Slayer, I get sleepy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get sleepy right away.
Well,
If you-
here's
if
the
you're
other
gonna
one.
talk metal to me now. I have to. That looks better. You know.
This is the same band. It's awesome.
Oh, all right, that looks better.
And I was. It's the same thing with Twin Temple, Arnaldo. Like we were on our stream and Brandon's like, dude, because we were talking about Twin Temple and how weird it is and how much I love it now. And he's like, dude, if you're into weird stuff like that, you should totally check out Spirit World. I'm like, and I'm thinking Spirit Halloween, and their font is almost exactly the same. And he's like, it's cowboys and like Slayer. I'm like, I'm in.
Or
So
you could
that-
just go for the original doo-wop.
No, it's not as good. No, it is good, but yeah, I get into stuff like that and I just don't look back. And fairly, like I'm hitting it out of the park on these dumb blind buys that I'm doing. But both of those records are heavy.
I know that was a blind
awesome.
buy. You saw the thing. I read you the
Yes,
album
yes.
titles, and
Yes.
you were sold on the album cover.
Happy to be that person. Happy to be that person. I'll let you know when I get burned. So far, nothing but net. And it's like those Spirit World records are so awesome too. I love them. And we scared Jose away.
So interesting thing when we were talking earlier about the Stop Making Sense.
Yep.
I looked on the spine,
Yeah.
and in 1984, this record cost $9.98.
That's pretty high, wouldn't
Yeah.
it?
Well, it's a special edition because it came with the
Okay.
booklet.
Okay.
So in today's money, that's $30.
What is that?
And
That's
now it
$30.
goes for
In today's money, that's $30. So probably a version like this, you'd pay, I don't know, maybe the same because it came with a booklet.
Oh, that one. Oh,
Yeah.
you saw it backstage. Sorry.
No. I said in today's money, probably would be $30. Maybe at the time for what they were giving you, because a booklet like this probably would raise the price significantly, maybe to $40. But comparatively, I don't think we're too far off. I don't know. That's just my opinion. To all those people that think that records cost too much now.
yeah. When you do that, there's a lot of similarities. You're right.
No, I think it's gonna be the reason that I want to get that reissue is because they're including all the songs from my favorite song. From
Yeah,
that,
they're actually. I think they're making it a double, right?
Yeah,
It
yeah.
is. It
My
is.
Yeah.
favorite song from that live album. It's Heaven.
That's
I
a great
love
one.
that song,
I
so
need
I'm
that.
very happy that they're including it because in this shit doesn't have it.
It's on the
Seems like a strange
deluxe.
omission.
It's on the deluxe CD version that came out a few years ago.
Yeah. It's been out, but not on vinyl. I think.
No, I don't think so. No.
There's a bootleg of this that actually included it. I'm a fan of bootlegs.
We see that,
Yeah.
Flip it off.
and so do the police. But anyway, it's okay. And I don't mean the band, but anyway.
Yeah. I actually today I contacted Arnaldo and Jason because I need a record from Vinyl Me Please, which we might get into when it gets announced. But if it's the record that I think it is,
Actually,
Listen, there's no code word around here. You're acting. What are you guys
well,
talking
actually,
about? here?
guys, can I don't know if you guys follow the clues that
yeah,
Vinyl
clues
Please
for
that
the
drops
I
for
try
the next
to.
3 selections.
Used to, but okay.
And they released a final clue, and I'm hoping, wishful hoping, that
for what genre?
for the essentials, just a second. The first clue in that genre was it's a funk. It's the funk genre, right? For the essentials. That's the first clue of this specific first release. Then the second clue was the band members in the group are 12. And today they released the final clue that album came out in 71. I'm hoping it's Maggot Brain.
Whoa.
Let me share
That's
the
a
link.
very
with Cam.
essential. That's
Can
a
you
very-
please go and count how many members, Jason, are on that cover? I think it's 12 in the credits. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Okay. so
Reddit does not agree.
Reddit doesn't agree.
I
Well,
don't think so.
Chance, can you share this?
Yeah, I was just about to. Yeah, let me jump on that present.
Isn't Sly and the Family Stone like 100 members as well?
But what album of theirs came out in? There you go. Thank you.
71? I don't know.
71. The only other band that I thought of was Earth, Wind, and Fire, but their album from 1971 is kind of lame. It's like an album that no one really cares about.
But what I'm blown away by is the country, the last one. That's what I need to have the record, and the fact that they are releasing it, it's so bizarre because it's not like all the other clues are clues, but the one from country, the last one, it says Culiacan. It's like it's literally just could be one.
It can only be that person. Yeah, that one was much easier to guess.
Well, that's like insanely easy to.
Well, hey, listen, I don't have my decoder ring. Can you guys just tell us who these people?
Oh, it's a guy.
Here, I'll show you. I'll show it to you.
Well, no, there's Maggot Brain. Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one. I have an original, but
Do you think the Maggot Brain is the essential? Yeah.
That's easily.
I don't know. I'm hoping Maggot Brain is the first essential.
well, I found it very strange that they never did a 50th anniversary on that because that one would be like printing money, in my opinion. Especially,
Well, I think the
the
reason why
ladders.
is because there's no good tapes around of it. I think that they're lost, and the only thing that's available is like maybe a copy or whatever transfer they did at the time. David, correct me if I'm mistaken. I don't know, but I think that's the reason why they couldn't do it, is because there's no one can verify what the original tapes
But
are.
Chat
Isn't,
GPT
like,
had
the
something to say
platters-
about this.
How many members are there in the Platters?
The platters.
Platters.
There's only 5.
There's only 5 or 6.
No, I don't know. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, no, the platters is 5 or 6.
No, they're not going to do anything.
Yeah, no, it's 12 members
Yeah.
in the band.
Okay, so hold on, let me check that clue as well.
this is some real Scooby-Doo shit we got going on here, guys. I'm being honest with you.
Yeah, but you have to show all three like sides.
Yeah, I have them on my phone. Could someone pull them up?
It was okay, so I haven't put all the clues together yet, but so the 12 band members is Parliament.
It could be,
Could
right?
be, sure. And then the release dates, though, could be Earth, Wind, and Fire.
14 people played on Maggot.
That would be either The Need of Love or
Give
There's
Love,
No
Yeah,
Self-
but I
Avatar,
was
and
thinking
Now Then
this,
and Forever.
Vinyl Me Please have gotten it wrong a lot of times. There's one time, I think last one, that they Earl Sweatshirt record, and they said that it was released a year that it was not released.
Oh,
Well,
And,
that'll just make our search impossible if we assume that, though. What's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
other? What's the third clue?
um,
Members, release dates, and what else?
genre. It was funk.
Okay,
who
all right.
plays country in Brooklyn?
It's either Parliament or Earth, Wind, and Fire,
Yeah, and Earth, Wind, and Fire's 10.
In country?
according to this is an Essentials.
Oh, but yeah, but who is Reddit saying it's from Culiacan? Because there's only one guy.
Oh yeah, no, yours is like the
No,
one
yours is easy.
mentioned, it's like there's no other discussing that one. Yeah, I agree with you, Jose. It's probably
But you have no idea how bizarre they.
Jose, again, who is it?
Oh, show him the record, Jose.
Oh, I don't.
For crying out loud.
His name is Chalino, right?
Yes,
Chalino.
Lino Sanchez. Yeah.
Chalino
Okay.
Sanchez.
Let me send you the link, Chance.
Thank you, Jose. This is why
Jose,
you're here.
Can you share?
This
can you
has
share
been the
with
longest
everyone?
tease in the history of teases. He's like, "Oh yeah, it's got to be this." I'm like on bated breath. Who is it? Who
No,
is
but
it?
you're not gonna know who it is. But it's like it's a folk legend from here from
Okay,
Mexico,
great.
so- but it's very specific.
Does he have a name?
Chalino Sanchez. I already said.
Oh.
Jose, can you share what you told me earlier today?
Yeah. So he
And
got
put the
into-
link of the video so Chance.
Oh
can see
yeah,
it.
I can send you the link. But the interesting thing is, so it's like this guy that got into like bad waters things, like gangster shit, and then he had sex with the boss of the cartel, and
Oh
then
shit!
he got
It's a terrible idea.
got a dead sentence. Like, if you come back to Mexico, we'll kill you. So he went to the U.S. and he was there, like in California, Coachella, around that area, and he got deported and went back to Mexico. And then he did a show, and
Oh no,
I
they
remember
asked
this.
for it then.
no, they didn't Dimebag Daryl him, but he was. There's a video of him reading a note, and he's like sweating.
Yes.
And he sees the video, and he's like,
I've seen this.
and then he starts singing, and he got a death. He said, like, when you get
Death
off
threat?
this concert, you're gonna be dead. And the next day, they found him dead. So he's like folk hero from around here, but I don't understand why. You have no idea how weird it is that Violently Pleased is releasing his music.
Maybe it was very cheap to get.
No. So that's the one that I think it is, because it's 95, and that's his. There's two that could be, but that's his most famous photo. So I'm assuming that that's the photo they would want for that record. But there's
Look
another
at that cover. Badass. Look at the gun.
he was a badass.
Too bad he didn't have it that night. What good is it if it's only for the cover, man? Come on.
Yeah, that's a good one. But anybody here has heard that song? Because I know they've been playing it in the
But
U.S.
yeah, Jose, did you mention he was shot on stage?
No, he was not shot on stage. So
No, he wasn't. I thought that's what you told me.
No. I told you that
He
told him
got
that
the
he was
note
going to get
on
shot.
stage. Got it. Okay.
And that night he went missing, and they found him, like a farmer found him dead, like the next day. But there's a footage of him reading the death note, and then he sings like nothing's wrong with him. But it's either that record or another one. But any record by him, and any record, I've only found one in my lifetime, and I literally been looking for it for 11 years that I've been here in Mexico, and I've only seen one, and I sold it for like $500. That's the cheapest one. I mean, the compilations that they release of him, they're like $1,000.
It's about the price of that box set.
Probably.
I quit watching those What's in My Bag, but I may go back and watch it if they talk about that. That's interesting.
Yeah, Chalino. Yeah, Ariel Pink, which conveniently it's right here next to me. Right?
Oh, shocking.
Shocking. He's a big fan. Look, here's a photo of Ariel Pink.
Jose, when we meet up in Austin in the fall, are you going to bring like a giant suitcase so you have these prop records?
You have to do two planes.
Actually, the last time that I was in Austin, I saw Ariel Pink. So before the politics stuff. But now people only say Ariel Pink stings, right?
No idea what you're talking about.
You don't know who
You don't know Ariel Pink? That's like you would like it.
Don't worry about it. No.
It's like lo-fi poppy music. You would like it.
You know, Jose, I've met him a few times. He doesn't like me very much, even though like he knows what band I played in and all this stuff.
He reeked like shit when I met him, and I like that guy. I speak highly of him, but he you know, what record has Louis on the cover? Oh, the Louis. They saying that you look like
I don't know, man.
R. Stevie Moore. You think you look like R. Stevie Moore?
Which one? The guy on the right.
Yeah, that guy.
That looks like a young Jose on the left.
Hope not.
He's sitting on his lap. That's some weird shit, Jose. What's going on there?
No,
Guy in the right looks like Michael Fremer.
Wait, nobody knows
Fremer.
R. Stevie Moore. That's kind of depressing that nobody knows R. Stevie Moore, the father of home recordings. This is his first record. It's called Phonography. This is a horrible bootleg.
He's arrested for records. We can all
that.
show records if you want.
No, this is official, but it's like it looks like shit. Look at that sticker. It looks.
Jose's self-awareness just absolutely saves this whole thing.
No, but he's a good artist.
Uh-oh. Is that George Borden? I don't know. I mean, Jose, throw that one back up there. We may have found.
George Borden looks like R.
Oh my
Let me
gosh!
see.
Actually,
Let's look.
You know, don't follow this bastard on Instagram. Don't follow. He puts the weirdest shit up. He's like 65 or something like that. It's pretty
Joe,
good.
that's my new channel, VC Doppelgang, coming out.
Are you
Q3.
you got a problem with 65-year-olds or what?
No. But he uploads like photos with no shirt and all his like belly and pretty much
Wow.
naked, and I don't want to see that shit.
And what was that handle again, Jose?
It's R. Moore, the official R. Moore.
Yeah.
But politics.
Does he have an innie or an outie?
Yeah, I know.
Woof.
But he has good stuff. I'm very much into like actual lo-fi music, not lo-fi beats, which is like bullshit, but the actual lo-fi music.
Oh,
And he's pretty up there.
I think all those bootlegs are what I call
I know that's
lo-fi,
why
right?
you don't care about the bootlegs.
No, you know what? Like, to be honest, I with bootlegs, when I was growing up, like if I found something that I liked, didn't matter if it was like a bootleg or whatever, I still enjoy it.
Yeah.
Jose Cesar makes a point.
No, I know that he's famous as fuck, but that's like weird because it's like narco corridos. I don't know if anybody knows what that is.
Corleone, what?
No, narco corridos.
Corleone.
That's like,
I said
narco
Corleone.
music. That's so
It's a rare record, right?
it's extremely rare. You can't find. It's like Selena records. If you
Oh.
find a Selena record,
I
you're
think
rich.
they want to get ahead of ERC doing it.
Yeah, probably right.
If it's that rare,
Yeah, it is extremely. So he never had a label while he was alive.
Get out your Sharpies, ERC alert.
Is it Jose? You think so much is bullshit that it waters down the term? What I don't understand them.
Well, what that means is
So new topic. I said this before when
Nacho Doritos. What the fuck even is nacho flavor? And so, can someone in the US explain what nacho flavor is or taco flavor is? What is that? What is taco flavor? I know
I've never seen anything labeled taco flavor.
No,
Of
nacho.
course, that's Doritos.
Like-
That's
like-
Doritos. So
Hey, it's like that's nacho record.
Oh,
So that's
yeah.
what you say, you know.
Not Doritos. That's a space age polymer that they're putting on those
Oh,
chips.
shit, yeah.
And it's presumably fallen from space. So,
So record talk.
Record talk.
Arnaldo was talking about Discogs and it made me think of. I wanted to bring this up in the freestyle portion. So that email or the however they communicated about Discogs really cracking down on spammers and scammers. Did anyone else throw up in their mouth a little bit? Because I got to be honest, it has not improved from what I've seen.
not at all. Not at all.
I mean, it's the biggest crock of horse shit I've seen in a while. Because now, when Record Store Day records were being flipped on there, it was 20 times worse. So
Yeah,
I've seen a
that's
little improvement,
easier.
but I'm also not looking for those records anymore. But every day in my feed, when I look, there's spammers. The Beatles box set, the
Yeah.
mono,
But some are more
$200.
clever.
Like you were saying, Arnaldo, one feedback or no feedback. I mean, it's the same recipe of nonsense. Then you look at their inventory, and it's all high dollar value records for nothing. So, I guess open question: is Discogs really doing anything, or what in the hell does Discogs people even do?
I will say this: that how many times have you gotten scammed from Discogs?
I mean, I was born at night, but I wasn't born last night, Jose. So I it's been very rare that I've been. And when you say scammed, where it was too good to be true, and I still did it anyway, or because I told the story about the guy sending me the wrong record. That's several times, but
That's yeah. I've never had that happen, but for Halloween for like 3 years ago, Mondo had a box set of all the Friday the 13th. No, yeah. Friday the 13th. I don't know, Halloween.
that's Waxwork did that. No, I think those. Yeah.
No. Have the Halloween was Mondo.
Yes, Mondo. Yep.
So they had like a box set of all the ones till 6, if I'm not mistaken. And so I bought it from somebody that had a lot of reviews, like more than 200 reviews. And I got it, and the guy sent me a fake tracking info and everything. And I saw his page, and he had all good reviews, and then the last 10 were people saying scam.
Wow.
And I had to like I looked him up, and I saw that he had like an audio repair shop in Nebraska.
Oh, you tried hunting them down? Good for you. Yeah.
And I called him and I said, "Look, you bastard! Like, I got your number. I know who you are. Why haven't you shipped this? And he said, oh, it's not that I haven't shipped it. It's that I think it got lost in the mail. And so I contacted the postmaster for whatever his section was. And he told me that they have no recollection of him bringing anything because that tracking number had never been used before. So
Shocking.
it's shocking. And I got my money back. Discogs helped me, but that's the only time that I've gotten scammed. I think Discog scams look very suspicious. Like, I don't know who falls for them, but it's very annoying to see them. Very annoying to see them.
Well, I'll answer that question, Jose. Who's falling for them is people who aren't nuanced or have been educated or done their research. A lot of things we talked about in the opening hour, and unfortunately, it's very prevalent. You just what you said. If you go look at the feedback, there are multiple people getting hit because they think, "Oh, wow, what a great deal! I'm going to buy it before somebody else does," and then they get in that loop of PayPal and fighting for their money and all that stuff. And their hope, these scammers, is that they can make it out with a couple of these transactions going through, and then they shut everything down and they're on to the next scam. So I don't know. Jason, you and I have kind of talked offline about the Discogs piece because for the added sales, they added that 1% into the seller fee now, and they're
9%.
I just question how many people really work there. Well,
I have the description for the thing. It said, so it looked legit. Look, it says comments: open number 1 and number 2 to verify a caller. Otherwise, perfect and never played. Bog is mint, $172. So, it's like.
But how many transactions? Because you said you thought they were fake transactions. Because the other scam was they were hacking established dormant users too, who had hundreds of transactions but had been dormant for years. Somehow hacked these accounts because that was also another part of the scam and spam, I guess.
Their password was 1234567 So
Yeah.
That's the same password I have on my luggage.
It's I remember my dean in my high school, his the thing for the code for his door was 1234, and some kids got in and they got away with changing grades, and one guy graduated like that, and they couldn't do anything after that because it was already admitted, and they couldn't say that it was his fault. So good things come from leaving your password at 1234.
Well, yeah, and the other thing, Chance, going back to what you asked, I think the old adage is if it looks too good to be true, it probably is.
100%.
Yeah, and I think that's really people like to get a deal, and sometimes they get the short end of the stick.
My dog is asking me to take it out, so this is
Jose. You taking off? All right.
All right.
Take it out.
All right.
Good hang, Jose.
Thanks, Jose. Take
Thanks,
care,
Jose.
puppy.
All right. Have a good night.
Have
All
a
right.
good
See you,
one.
buddy. Be good.
Take care.
Take care.
Bye-bye. Yep. Anybody ever heard of Emily Lazar? Mastering engineer, Coldplay, Morrissey. Stay tuned.
She's the chief mastering engineer and the founder of the Lodge.
Which Morrissey record did she master?
I'd have to look to tell you the truth. I can't remember off the top of my head, but let me see. I think it was "I'm Not a Dog on a Chain."
Oh, the last one.
Yes. Yeah, she's been around since the 90s, actually. So she's one of the. When I was looking at top 10 mastering engineers, her name kept showing up. Which had the usual people, the Ludwigs and the Grunmans and the Kevins, but her name kept popping up. So there's a ladies group of mastering engineers that I kind of through Susan Rogers connected with, and so I'm going to connect with her and probably have her on the show.
Is she U.S. based?
I think so. Yeah.
ChatGPT disagrees. About as to whether Emily Lazar mastered a Morrissey record.
Oh, well, ChatGPT needs to wake up.
Cybernet is not fully online yet. It's about
China, yeah. We'll
China,
get
yeah.
Is it 2.0?
I don't know.
Yeah, Chris Allwood also does the other mastering engineer.
Oh, Arnaldo, we got Joe Marino. Is that true? Calling you to the carpet, Arnaldo. I don't even know what he's asking about.
Yeah, I don't either.
I wonder, Louis, if ChatGPT
Is that true? Regards what?
Yeah, regards to what?
Back to the Morse, I think. Louis, where are you going? Are you looking for the wormhole? Jose's wormhole?
My cat wanted to get out.
I'm with you.
It's the pet hour. Restless pets.
Fine.
Speaking of pets, look at this. I found a weird looking out. Hang on. Can I share a screen real quick?
Of course. Yeah, go for it.
All right. See if I can figure it out. You know how that goes. Hey, your
I mean, we are
computer.
professionals over in this operation.
Oh,
Chance,
yeah,
can you throw
yeah,
up John Bandy's comment?
I can. Let me find them.
Don't say throw up that quickly, okay?
Do you have a sister? She good looking. Free weed with purchase? Can
Whoa.
you provide a dessert with the order?
Mm.
These are the 3 questions Joe Marino asked for.
Wow.
Wow.
Hang on here.
What's
That's how to
happening?
get an order canceled on Discogs.
Mm.
It's like
Mm.
right there.
I see.
I don't know. I don't know. I think Melinda Murphy made a video recently, and I made this comment. I think it's very true. Discogs is the best, worst thing that's happened to the hobby. I think it's great for the cataloging. I think it's great for the real rare stuff that you'll probably never see. But
I have an answer to the alleged misinformation that David was spreading.
uh-oh.
Okay.
David
go
is
ahead.
correct.
Oh,
The last Morrissey record was mastered at the Lodge in New York. The chief mastering engineer is Emily Lazar.
How do you spell her last name?
Lazar.
Lay what?
Lazar.
not laser.
Chat
laser.
GPT is officially wrong then.
Yep.
Oh no.
Wow.
Our
Not Louis, not Nick.
our robot overlords are not quite there yet.
No.
Can't wait for ChatGPT to
Can we
come
take
back
away
with-
his reg?
Wrong, you sir.
Wrong.
Wrong. You lose. Good day, sir. Yes.
Yes, absolutely. So anyway.
Josh, this is a good question. I think that the answer is no. I think if last I heard her speak on in one of her videos, she said she was waiting for her husband to have some time where they could film and I guess tell the story of their trip together. So stay tuned.
It's
That's-
okay.
that's-
I mean, it's like she'll do it. She'll make the video when she's ready.
100%.
It's
What are
not
we
just
talking
that.
about?
I don't think it's just her.
Well, I have a feeling going back to what we were talking about before when they announced these back in the Reagan administration that these were coming. I mean, I think they're also waiting to actually make the things and actually have something that kind of coincides with what she's going to talk
Yeah.
about. But
It'd be the big splash.
David, are you watching on another screen your buddy Coletco?
So
No.
just a second. So can we ask Joe Marino? Oh, the GZ comment. Yes, because I believe it was John Bandy said he's not a fan of DMM cuts.
Uh-huh.
And I replied saying, do you know that almost all of GZ
Absolutely.
pressings are DMM?
That is correct.
And that is correct
That is
because
correct.
one of my production managers told me GZ does exclusively
Almost exclusively.
yeah, DMM cuts.
That is true. So you
Because
everything,
it just
pretty
gives-
much
gives
everything
you a
on
file, and then
music
it
on
cuts it
vinyl.
automatically. That's what he
it's
told
always
me.
on music on vinyl. It's always music on vinyl. Yep.
And I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but Parlogram Auctions
Yes.
did a video on the Beatles DMM cuts.
So did I.
Oh, you did? Okay, I haven't watched that one either, so don't feel bad, David.
No, it's okay.
Watch either one of them.
No,
So yeah, and I actually had reached out to him because my blue box, thanks to him, I learned how to just look at the vinyl and pick out which are DMM, which is a DMM cut and which is not.
yeah. It's almost
Um,
visual. You can almost.
Yeah, it's visual. You can tell the difference.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in the blue box, the BC13 that I have, I went through almost all of them, and I'm pretty sure on most of them that they are not DMM cuts. And I was asking him, and he's like, you can't really tell because all of the BC13 Beatles boxes. The albums were picked randomly, and the inner sleeves, most of them have a date there, which indicates when most likely the not only the sleeve was produced, but probably the record was produced. But it's totally random. So I was telling him, Andrew, I was just writing in the email saying, hey, I'm uncertain about these. Do you know if this was a DMM cut? Because some people made blanket statements. Oh, anything after 1987 was most likely a DMM cut from the BC13. Then you have other people that are saying, no, the BC13, none of them were DMM cuts because they started using them after. So it's very confusing. But it doesn't matter because they sound good. So,
yep, the Japanese DMMs, and they don't sound good. They don't sound good. I did a review on them.
Here's a question. I thought is from Jason. I thought Record Industry did music on vinyl. GZ, is it, David?
Record Industry. Let me look.
I thought music on vinyl is European, right?
It is.
yes.
I met a guy in Den Bosch. He works for that company, and I asked him some questions. And
I think also Precision.
Precision's in Canada. They're
in
owned
Canada,
by GZ.
and they're owned by GZ, and they
They're
also
owned by
probably do all DMM cuts.
Patrick,
Yeah, it's cheaper to do. I mean, there's no doubt about that. It's cheaper. One of
Formerly
the reasons.
the Sony.
yeah, there were some funny conversations with that guy from Music on Vinyl when I asked him, is it AAA or digital? And then I started naming some titles. And
How did you meet him? Did they have a booth or something? Or
no, he actually, that guy who worked for that company, he knows like a friend of mine who lives in Slovakia, and we met up, and then he introduced me to this guy. We started talking about pressings and of course records that Music on Vinyl was put out. And then I was asking him, well, is it AAA? And then he said something, well, if it's not mentioned. And I was like, oh man, woo, if it's not on the I guess the little hype sticker, right?
But I think none of the Music on Vinyl have that hype sticker that say,
Correct.
No.
right?
Correct.
Absolutely do not.
Correct.
But
So that,
in the end, if it sounds good, does it
course.
matter?
I mean, yeah, you have to think about
If
it.
you like it, does it matter?
And
But
if
here-
that was like the only way you can get it on vinyl, I
Right.
see Louis kind of freaking out,
Yeah, Record Industry is doing some of the music on vinyl for sure. They are doing. So I looked at a few. But what I have found generally about music on vinyl
hell yeah,
is
look at you.
if they're doing if they're trying to do earlier stuff, that's really analog, it's going to sound worse. If they're doing the newer stuff like Posies and that's digital, it sounds better. It sounds okay because I think the platform's a little more compatible. So I think that's kind of what I've found.
So Patrick says they do all of the music on
Do they
vinyl.
do all? Okay, I stand corrected if they do them all.
Delightful. Well,
But
boys,
they are DMMs. They are.
you want to run about another 10 minutes and then we'll wrap
Sure.
this boat
Are,
up?
are we going to connect to CollectCo? To end
Oh
the
yeah,
evening?
yeah. Let's make that a tradition if you guys want.
Yeah, let's go.
I'm happy.
I don't know. Is he still up?
Yes,
oh
he
no,
came,
he just
came
wound it
back
down.
up.
Shit.
I thought he just started back up again.
Hang on, unless he starts another one, because sometimes he'll do two different streams in an evening. I had it going. That's why I was going to ask David because he was showing some real bonkers. But let's see.
Oh yeah, that's okay. You could jump in there anytime on the old one and laugh. It
This-
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, this is true.
Just go in the middle there somewhere. It doesn't matter.
All right, let's. This is always a fun way to watch. Louis, have you seen this before?
Mm-mm.
So I have to. This is a public service announcement because I don't want to be held liable for this. This guy sells on YouTube. He does. I think he uses StreamYard or something that's dual platform because he sells simultaneously through YouTube and Facebook.
Yes,
And he'll show. He's based in Lebanon, Tennessee,
correct.
and he will show records, and people will literally be like, "Yeah." So
That used to be called Lebanon Antique Mall.
yeah. All right. Oh, we're coming. Chad, we're coming. Hang on.
One and that one. We plan on doing a 7-hour nonstop continuous stream tonight.
7 hours coming at you.
Of
7
Holy
hours.
shit.
He obviously
Walk
didn't.
records to show and sell. We've got it. We got it shared in the groups. Now let's go over here to YouTube. Get the link.
Go further.
Listen to
down,
those
I think.
My
dulcet
credit
tones.
card's being charged right now.
We're gonna
And
skip ahead. Here we
welcome
go.
to my world. Elvis is $9.99.
Go to the
Few
end, it
Elvis
might be the
records in
live
here.
feed.
Here's Blue Hawaii. It's on a tan RCA label. This has Can't Help Falling in Love on it. 24 for Elvis. And
24.
Good Times is $9.99.
That's the cheapest you're ever going to see.
Good Times, Elvis. Tracy McFadden, First Through the Firefall. That's sold to Tracy
no
McFadden.
condition. No,
And
no
Elvis
talking
in
condition.
Hollywood. A few in here I've never seen before. Of course, that happens. $19.99, Elvis in Hollywood. Wow, some good-looking songs on here. That's $19.99. And we have an Elvis Aaron Presley box set.
Oh shit!
This is $74.99. It's one of the numbered
Giving it
ones.
away.
This is
Giving it
number
away.
817. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 LP box and book with it. That's $74.99. Pete Weisgarber wants Elvis in Hollywood. Yeah, that's one I don't see too often. Elvis Today, $99. Kiss.
Kiss.
Holy moly. $49.99. What's that doing in there? Kiss self-titled.
Oh my
This is
god!
an 85
Not even a
press.
blue label.
1985 press. Has a barcode on the back. Super clean.
Oh, barcode.
Kiss
That'd be the
Oh, it
self-titled.
has a
really old-
barcode?
99. PW got in Hollywood.
Oh,
Ken
God.
Heinstam wants the EAP box set.
Oh,
That's the Elvis Aaron Presley box set. That's sold to Ken Heinstam.
A run.
Our Memories of Elvis Volume 2. That's $9.99. Our Memories of Elvis Volume 1. $9.99. And Night Moves, Bob Seger.
You should get that for Jose.
$29.99. Working on those night moves. That's a very nice looking
Yes.
copy.
Very
$29.99.
At the
Slade
store for
in
$5.
Flame. Slade in Flame. This is a 1974 German press. $24.99, including Far, Far Away and How Does It Feel hype sticker. $24.99. Check it. I get a Can't Buy a Thrill. No problem. Heart Like a Wheel, Obi. I do not have a Japanese pressing of that. Tanner is grabbing a copy of Can't Buy a
Get
Thrill
'em,
right
Tanner.
now. This is
Get
a
on there,
Steely
Tanner.
Dan new sealed. Can't Buy a Thrill, $36.99. Gatefold remaster. That's sold to Stephen Chesney.
Oh,
Carlos
that's a dollar
Santana and Mahavishnu John McLaughlin. Love, Devotion, Surrender. That is $19.99. And we have,
God.
this is $19.99. Carlos Santana
These are like
with
dollar records.
insert. This is Carlos Santana and Buddy Miles live,
Highlight Joe Moreno's
$19.99.
comment.
Michael Ling first on the Slade. Now we have a Bryan Adams up for auction, $45 start. Japanese pressing of Reckless. Final call. I'm going to make that a buy it now. Then I'm going to put up 2 new ones. And Todd Tipton, I just want to know if I can't happen to find a colored copy, a colored vinyl copy of Pantera. Are you good with a 2LP black vinyl? Let me know if I can't find one. I'll tag that one for you. But I will definitely try to find the first one. Steppenwolf, Hour of the Wolf. Steppenwolf is a white label promo with the promo strip on the front. $24.99. Frank Sinatra, The Golden Years,
Mike,
20
Jasmine,
all-time
Mike here.
favorites. $14.99 on
There he
Frank Sinatra, The Golden Years.
Whoops.
Stevie Nicks, Rock a Little, another really nice copy, inner sleeve, $19.99 on Stevie Nicks, Rock a Little. Santana, Beyond Appearances with hop sticker, includes Say It Again, $19.99. Kevin, you were first that time to that Stevie Nicks. That's sold to Kevin Willis. And Bruce Springsteen, Greetings from Asbury Park. This is $29.99. This is Bruce's first album, Greetings from Asbury Park, New Jersey. Jersey boy. Really nice looking copy.
Okay.
Kevin says he was ready. Okay, we have Frank Sinatra, Strangers in the Night, $14.99. Frank
I think
Sinatra,
$2
Strangers
for
in the
that
Night.
record.
That's $14.99. Russell S. wants the Bruce. Tanner, that one was $29.99.
Damn
And
it,
Joe
Tanner,
Zanelli
get on
wants
it.
Santana. We have Steppenwolf, Slow Flux. That is $19.99. Foil cover, near mint, $19.99. And Frank Sinatra, we got multiple Sinatra compilations in here. That's $14.99. And Leo Sayer, Just a Boy, $14.99. Wednesday morning, 3 a.m. Simon and Garfunkel. Beautiful
Reissue.
copy. It's a
That's a
second
reissue.
label, but it looks unplayed. That is $12.99. All right, Brian Adams is going to be a buy it now. $45 buy it now on Brian Adams Reckless. If anybody wants it, I'm going to pull that away for a second.
Elliot, I'll
I'll
put you
put
in
up 2
contact
new
with this guy
Japanese
if you want me
auctions
to.
in just a second. I probably do have some USOG stuff to auction as well. We've got 12 crates of new vintage arrivals. 12 crates full. I don't know how many we're going to get to go through tonight, but we'll go through as many as possible.
7 hours.
I'm going to go through them, and then I'm going to read back through them one more time, and then it'll be a final call. I doubt we do any kind of recap tonight, so probably going straight through. So let me know what you want. Elvis, Separate Ways, $9.99.
I usually love listening to the
Martin
Southern
Murphy,
accent,
that
but
was
this guy's killing me.
$14.99.
I know.
Randy Newman, Little Criminals,
Oh my
$19.99.
God.
Oh my God.
The legendary
He is a
recordings of
little
Elvis
criminal.
Presley, $44.99.
That's an autobiography of
The
this
Gary
guy.
Puckett album, $12.99.
Oh,
Too Lefty from Willie, $14.99. The Yardbirds Favorites, $19.99. Very nice copy. The Yardbirds. 20 Years of Dirt, the best of the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. Then some Elvis. We have Double
It's going so
Dynamite,
fast.
Welcome to My World, Blue Hawaii,
Oh, he's going
Good
to the same
Times,
bin.
Elvis
Okay.
Today, and then Kiss
Oh, hang
is
on,
a
this is the end. Did I
1985
get something?
press. Kiss is $49.99.
$50.
$49.99. Our Memories of Elvis Volume 2, Our Memories of Elvis Volume 1, Bob Seger Night Moves, Carlos Santana and John McLaughlin, Carlos Santana with Buddy Miles Live, Steppenwolf, Sinatra, Steppenwolf, Sinatra, Leo Sayer, and
What's wrong
Simon.
with the video here?
We've got, let's see what we have.
Oh, he's
Fabulous
on.
Thunderbirds.
There we go. Let's do about
Fred bid
5 more
36.
minutes
No
and-
other bids though on Wings. We're going to sell that to Joe Maynard for $55.
Damn it, Joe
Who
Maynard.
was at 35 on the Fabulous Thunderbirds? Darren Davis. So Darren, you're back out on the Fabulous Thunderbirds. This near mint OG copy of Bad Company. It's beautiful.
Accurate.
That's at $40 of Daniel Cody.
This guy's
Now,
near mint isn't anywhere
George
close.
Buchanan, I will sell you Van Morrison for 28. Sell that to George Buchanan for
He said his
28.
voice was near mint too.
50 on Bad Company. Fred, you're back out on Fabulous Thunderbirds. Yes, these are from the Wisconsin collection.
Thank you. Thank you.
They're really nice and clean.
Jason, did you sell him records?
I'm going to show a couple more. I'm surprised no one's
I mean, you
bought
said
that.
you were from Minnesota. Maybe you
Or
just drifted.
this,
With my time machine.
OG Yellow Submarine. This is a perfect
Oh,
copy
Nick,
with the hot
UG
sticker.
Hey, Novus
That's
Nick.
in shrink wrap with the insert.
$3.
Yellow
We're
Submarine.
What else is here? Somebody offered for a bundle on, yes, Neil Young bundle. James Bragg is interested in both of these.
Louis, you're bidding
James,
on the
I will
side?
do
Oh, yeah.
same
Yeah.
deal I did earlier. I'll do $5 off. These are so nice. That would be 70. I'll go ahead and do 68 for both of them. 68 for both of them. $5 off would be 70. I'll do 68 for both of them. And those are James Bragg's if he wants them. How could he say no? Eye of the Tiger is OG in shrink wrap. Original inner sleeve, $29.99.
How do people not know?
$29.99.
How do people not already know what
Put
this
up,
shrink wrap and hot
put up
sticker.
Mazzy's comment there.
Not Harvest. Oh, okay. So he
Chance.
didn't want Harvest. So that one, he wants Old Ways. My bad.
Yeah,
Actually,
you can
there's
learn a
three
few
in here,
things,
okay.
Maz.
That one was 39. This one's 39.
I don't
We'll
understand.
do 72 for both of them.
Oh, giving them away.
72 for both
Giving
of
them
those,
away, Chad.
instead of 68 for that one.
What was that Neil Young record? I'm not
My
familiar.
bad. I forgot there was 3 Neil Youngs. Survivor was $29.99, Floyd.
Floyd. Of course, Floyd is looking for Survivor.
Okay.
Of course.
He said so. So 72 for those.
I think
The
this is
best
some
price
praise.
on these 2
Praise
Beatles
right
albums would be 30 and, man,
30 for Yellow Submarine.
probably 30 and still 50. I don't know if I want to discount this one. I'll do 5 off for both of them. That would be 80. Yeah,
There
this
you
is
go.
so nice. This is so nice.
Oh, it's
be
on
80
Apple.
for both of them.
Okay.
Yellow Submarine, and they're both super clean. Stereo wants the Survivor. That's sold to Stereo. Now the list is thinning down of stuff. I can't believe this. The quote of the night that you'll hear me. I can't believe this hadn't sold. Stephen Chesney's at 55 on Bad Company. The Fabulous Thunderbirds is
There's
at
no
40 with
rigware,
Fred
though.
Carnell.
There's
40's
no
at Fred
rigware
Carnell
Bad
on that.
Company.
George Buchanan said he'll take these for 80. Jim Gray, those are yours for 80.
Mazzy,
If
you
not,
need
they're
these
sold to
buyers.
George
What, Mazzy,
Buchanan.
stop it.
Patrick,
Now,
you
where did
need
I
these
get to? We're
buyers.
thinning this thing out. Usually Janet Jackson is grabbed. Usually that is sold.
She's
Every
grabbed.
day.
all
That's a
right.
Left
She's
Behind.
grabbed.
So Neil Young Harvest, The Kiss, Bruce Springsteen,
Stereo.
probably
I
the
see
Hendrix,
Stereo
a
comment
couple
on
other
videos.
Beatles albums in there. Janet
Yeah.
Jackson, there's another
I
Beatles.
don't- Yeah, I wonder if it's
Now.
the same guy.
That's more like it. I guess it just took me discounting a few dollars off to get those sold.
Yeah. Oh, God.
You see
Let's
that he's
see here.
hiding the warrant.
Bad Company's
very
at
high,
60.
right?
Charlie DeFrank looks like you're third on Yellow
What is he
Submarine.
hiding?
And
You see
he
that
said,
white
let George
album right
have
there?
them.
That's warrant.
We got
Cherry
two
Pie.
offers
That's
on
the
Janet
music on
Jackson.
vinyl, though.
Yeah, yeah.
And Bad Company's at 65. So Darren's out on the Fabulous Thunderbirds. So that means Fred Carnell, you have the Fabulous Thunderbirds for $40.
Fred,
That's going
best day of
twice,
your
going
life,
three
Fred
times.
Cornell.
Now, I'm going to go ahead and show
Elliot,
What am I
adapt your
gonna
business
show,
model.
Tanner?
No more
I
antique
want to show
models.
something
Get you
over here. What do we got
StreamYard,
here?
double platform. no
Let's
crate.
go through.
I still don't get
Let's
it.
see here.
But this is all
Let's go through
knowable
this right.
stuff, right? Like,
Yes,
Yeah.
that's kind of the
why would you just
humor.
buy something like?
I will do
somebody's going that fast?
$29.99 for Janet Jackson. So I guess we're going to sell that to Fred Carnell for $29.99.
Fred Carnell is having
Janet
a hell of
Jackson
a show.
control.
All of
Anybody else
these
want to make an offer?
buyers,
I'm actually discounting new arrivals a few
That's what
dollars
they
here
are.
and there. So
I'll pull a Nova Stick
uh,
on
Dum
that.
not on
Dum.
everything though. I didn't on
Sucker.
Yellow Submarine. It's too nice.
Hey Novus, go
But
on there
I
and
did
bid
bundle
3.
that. I did bundle it. Bad Company's at 65. I'm going to go ahead and sell Fabulous Thunderbirds then. Fabulous Thunderbirds is sold to Fred Carnell for $40. That's sold to Fred Carnell. Let's see what I've got coming up also for auction. The Bad Company was pulled out of the next crate of vintage stuff. I probably need to flip through that then if it's got something not nice in it.
Tanner?
Let's see what else we have over here. Aerosmith, Permanent Vacation. That's one. That's kind of a later album of theirs. We don't get in as
He's
often.
right. Josh.
Well, there's a nice be able to find on vinyl.
4 or 5
That's
days a week.
$39.99 as an original. Big Star, $44.99. Eminem, the Marshall Mathers LP,
Oh my
$49.99 on Eminem. This is the Dead Kennedys, Mutiny on the Bay, live from San Francisco, $26.99 on Dead Kennedys. Suicidal Tendencies is on magenta colored vinyl, $33.99 on Suicidal Tendencies. The Best of the Grateful Dead,
Louis.
67 to 77, 2 LP. The Best of the Grateful Dead, $44.99. I've sold a bunch of those. I've also sold a bunch of these. Korn, Follow the Leader, $36.99. Def Leppard, On Through the Night, $33.99. Speaking of Aerosmith, up for auction. And here's one, kind of tough to find OGs of this. Get a Grip. Came out in 1993. That's 2 LP,
That's
$49.99.
utterly amazing.
The Police Greatest Hits is also $49.99. The Black Sabbath Paranoid reissue is $29.99. Minor Threat, $24.99. And Pearl Jam 10, $28.99. All right, Bad Company is sold to Stephen Chesney. That's sold to him for $65. Aerosmith Permanent Vacation is at $37 with James Bragg going once, going twice. John Lill's back in.
Boys, I'm telling you,
I don't.
when you can get a Bad Company record for $65, I'm doing it wrong. I don't know. I mean, what?
Why
Tip of
would
the cap.
anybody do
There's a
that?
U.S. copy too. I don't know.
And
Ugh.
it's just
How much was
unbelievable.
that Kiss? $50
Why would you
$50
just-
for the barcode kiss. Yeah.
for the repress from '85.
Yep.
I don't get it. Like
Well-
I don't see. I won't know anywhere near as much as you guys, but I wouldn't ever do that. I would have to like, what the fuck is going on? Like what?
That guy's
Why
selling
wouldn't you
records.
put your eyes on a price? At least have an idea if you were going to spend your money on something. And you guys are like, oh, these are all fucking super overpriced. People are just buying the shit out of this stuff. Like, what
Elliot,
the
drive
fuck's
to
going on?
Lebanon, Tennessee, and you can meet this guy, and you guys can mind meld and figure out his recipe for success. Because, like Josh D said, this guy is. I think he does it every night.
Do you think actually maybe there are fakes in there, and that he's like playing off some of these sales to get their hot stampers,
Definitely hot stampers. I mean,
to get other people to buy them because they see other people buying, but they're really not buying?
Could be.
oh, you think there's plants?
Plants.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, Tanner's probably got a big family. He's probably got, his sister and his mama and his baby mama's mom. I mean,
But still, what? how would that be enough to
Yeah.
sway you when you could just look up the number?
No, these
You can know
these are
that.
lazy
You can-
buyers.
Yes.
and I think the pace is on purpose, right? It's not just because
Absolutely.
he's
like an auction hawker.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
So my
7
next guest
hours
on the
of that shit,
podcast
though,
is
my
Chad
head-
from Colecco. That's problem.
Yeah.
One night I followed it was a 2-hour show and I added up everything. It was $2,800 in
Wow.
2 hours.
Well, fellas, it was a good stream. We had to end, obviously the Colecco. Maybe this is the closing segment as we just a reality
This
check
is
to make us
buyer
feel better
beware
about
segment.
ourselves.
Yeah.
Like Joe was saying, a little bullying, but we're trying to educate the masses because
Sure.
nothing against this business model, but you shouldn't be at $65 for a bad cup. Again, ringware, like you said, Arnaldo, there's no ringware.
It looked like it was in great condition, though. I have to give him that.
but was it
at least the cover.
$65 great condition? You decide. You decide.
I'm gonna call somebody before I spend any money on anything.
And that brings it back all together, and that's a great way to close. So, guys, thanks again for your time. Everybody watching at home, including Norman Maslow, thank you very much for watching. Appreciate you guys. We'll catch you next time.
Take
Thanks,
care,
guys.
everybody.
Bye.
See
ya.
ya. Bye.